Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring, I just want a life that is worth every day exploring,
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is boring. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great.
Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring, I just want a life that is worth every day exploring,
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is boring. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement. Yeah, there's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience. Yeah.
Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in, together we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the cafe. Good to see you today. Great to have you here. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Happy Monday. Great to see y'all. So, how are you? How was your weekend? How is everything going? How are you all feeling? I hope it's great, because you're great. Welcome. And guys, we got stuff to talk about today, of course. I'm a little excited about something we're going to be possibly adding to the channel itself, the community. So we're going to talk about that. Post show. Come on in, grab a seat. Grab a cup of joe, cup of tea, whatever it may be. Please come in and sit down. Have a conversation with me. Appreciate you guys. wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you all. Appreciate you guys joining us today. Thank you to my Blue Crew, as always, for being here, because they're amazing, and I couldn't do this without them. These are my granddaughter's glasses, by the way. They were just sitting here. I like playing with things, as you can tell. My ADHD is real, folks. Come on in. We got 13 peeps in the house with 5 likes. What is going on? Come on now. What is going on? Now I am somebody else. Now I'm Super Dago. Put these on. I'm mild-mannered Dago Kent. With these off, I become Super Dago. Can you tell the difference? Can you see it? Anyway. So. Who do we got in here with us today? Looks like Christy Nevada. Great to see you, Miss Paula. The positive one, as I call her, always in the house. Great to have you here. Brandy B, the OG. Lisa Joe, great to see you. It's been a while. Miss Tandy, the Seahawks fan that don't like me. She's in the house. She's mean to me all the time. Always. Sassy Cassie's in the house. Good to see you. SRBBBBB. Alicia Joe, yo, yo. Good to see you today. Thank you, Christy. Miss Bianca, hello and welcome back to you. Another talented songwriter in here, along with the Molly Cat. Where's Molly at? She better be in here. I just saw her. Thank you, SRB. There's the link for Miss Bianca's music, guys. Go check it out. Amazing stuff. She does great things. Go to Miss Bianca's channel, subscribe, hit the like button, share it out, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss anything Miss Bianca does, please. And thank ya. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody in here. Oh, let's see. Good morning, Cassie. Miss Christina, good to see you today. Lucy Morningstar, welcome back, Miss Heather. Great to see you today. Miss Tandy thinks I'm weird. You guys think I'm weird? Yes, I'm Super Dago that can't see. That's right, Lisa. I can't see. All things silver. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Always happy to see you. Oh, don't blush. Just telling the truth, Miss Bianca. You do some amazing things. Our Molly has been verified, guys. With her music, she does amazing music. She does all the songs for the channel and she's a videographer, basically. She does the intros, the outros, and all the extra little things that we have. She better bring her little kitty butt in here, because I just seen her, so I know she's around. Did I miss anybody else? No. So I got something new I want to bring out, Dak. I'm going to run a poll, guys, but I'm going to ask first. So I'm going to let you know. So I was just talking at a little bit quick meeting this morning with the Blue Crew. And I had an idea. It's been a while. I got it a long time ago, and then life got in the way, and I forgot about it. And I'm bringing it back out now. We have a Discord, as a lot of you guys know. Most of you guys are in there, quite a few. And there's always room for more in there. Plenty of things to do in there, and we always conversate in there. So with that, we have a community area that everybody can go into, like most Discords do, okay? And hang out, talk, do whatever. So, thank you, Christy. There's the link for Miss Heather's channel. We need Molly's link in here, too, please, for her channel. But anyway, so I was asking him this morning, I said, do you guys, would you guys be interested? Moonlet's here. Good morning. Good to see you. Now we can get started, because Moonlet's here. Always happy to see you, Moonlit. We're all here because we're involved and have a passion for true crime. We're very interested in crime. And thank you, Brady. Yes, guys, we have a TikTok channel as well and a Facebook, so please go check them out, follow them. Brandy's always doing something she runs our TikTok. And she's always doing something amazing over there. So please go follow that and check it out. There's Molly's link. Thank you, Cassie. So, oh, that's awesome, Lisa. Or awesome in a good way, but I hope you're not burning yourself out. Anyway, we all have a love and a passion for crime, true crime, whatever you want to call it, obviously, or we wouldn't be here. Okay. Most of us, when we're not on YouTube doing what we do, are probably watching the ID channel, Unsolved Mysteries, or something like that, because that's what we do. And if I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm wrong, but I can guarantee you I'm probably not. We can get you in there, Silver. You just have to send the email to Brandy, and she'll bring you right in. If one of you guys could drop that link in the chat for her so she can see how to do it, please and thank you. So they came out with a board game type thing a while back where you can play to solve mysteries and stuff like that on there as a game. Well, my wife was looking at that. We were talking about it, and she went a little bit further and she found something else. Feminem's in the house. Good to see ya. Welcome back. And I thought it would be a really cool idea when she found this, where you can actually get files, cold cases, solved cases, all sorts of cases that are ongoing, that are unsolved, that they need to solve. Missing persons, murders, suspicious deaths, and there's another couple other things in there, but where we can actually get together as a group in the Discord per se and help to solve real crimes, folks. It's not a game, but it's a way that we can all interact with this together for those of us that are interested or have the time or want to do something like that. We would set it up in our Discord. I think Cassie's already working on that, setting up like a specific like set of channels and stuff like that where we can interact in the voice and then in the chat, and we can put files in and move them around and do things like that and actually go in and solve real world cold cases. Okay. And I think we all come out here because we want to help in some way, put information out. I'm a commentary channel, so I commentate on different things that are going on in different cases, but we do a lot of investigating and a lot of research too, folks, as a team. Okay. And we have since we started because it's something we have a passion for. So this is a way, in my opinion, for us to all interact first off. And it's something of a, it's kind of, I guess, a way to help a little bit more in the true crime world by actually putting in effort and using the tools they give us through these programs. They give us the tools, the evidence, the photographs, how the crime scene was, all that kind of stuff. But we can use those things and interact with it and work on solving this crime, and then we can update the database to the thing and help do something. You know what I mean? And I think it would be an amazing thing. To us, it would be fun because it's what we love to do. And plus, we get to spend time together, hang out together. I figure we could do it a couple times a week, spend some time on it, whatever you can spare time-wise. Work together, and it's a great unity thing. This community is very united as it is, but that would just make it so much better. So I think it's something I want to do, and the rest of the team is all in on it. They definitely want to do it. So Miss Alicia had a great idea. I'm going to start a poll on this to see what you guys think. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a poll for this, and I'm going to call it, do we want to start working on the cold case project? Because I don't see the point in working on the solved cases if they're already solved. You see what I'm saying? It'd be kind of like a waste of time. So it's just a yes, no, and an unsure. So based on how you guys answer this, that will be the answer that I get. And then I will get back together with the team. We'll go in and get things worked out and set up. And it's going to take a little time. And then what I'll do is I'll set up something for those of you that are in Discord. We'll get together in there, have a little meeting, see who wants to be involved, who doesn't want to be involved. And if you're not in the Discord and you want to be involved in this and you want to join, just get a hold of Brandy or Cassie and let them know, and we'll get you in the Discord. And of course, spread the word, let them know what we're going to be doing. And that should be that. So let me see here. Did I miss anybody else in here? Yeah, I'm kind of excited myself, you guys. I think it would be really, truly a lot of fun to be able to work together with all these amazing people, of course, that want to be involved. Sarge is in the house. What's happening, Sarge? Good to see you. And do something. It'd be good. We'd be doing a little bit more than what we do. Oh, did you get purged? You're still in there, aren't you, Lisa? I thought you were. I don't know. I'll have to look here in a little bit. I'm sorry, I don't have time to jump in there right now. But I thought you were still in there. I just haven't seen you. I know you've been busy. That's okay. Oh, well, yeah, it does this thing in the Discord. If you're not active for a little while, it does something called pruning or something. And it kind of goes through and sorts out people that have like been quiet in there for a while. So I'm sorry about that. We'll figure it out, Lisa. We'll get it worked out. No worries. Moonlit says, sounds amazing. Each of us in the community have a specialty. Some are great with timelines, some docs, some smell. Yeah, that's why I thought it would be an amazing thing. Because, guys, how many times have we all heard YouTubers are idiots and they're stupid and they couldn't solve a crime and they can't solve crimes? Well, guess what? What if we do? Then we'd really be helping. It would be worth the time and effort we put into these cases, truly. Oh, well, yeah, it's important though, Lisa. I didn't, I'll figure it out for you. That's my thing, is I love cold cases. I truly do. So that's the plan, and that's how it's going to be set up. It's going to be one of the things we do in our Discord. All right, Brandy. Good here, and there's Sergeant Friday. Good to see you, sir. Excuse me. You guys are hilarious. So Dago thinks that's a good idea. And Dago wants to do it. So the rest of Dago's team said they wanted to do it. So Dago thinks we're going to do it. Let me check. We got 34 peeps in here. Guys, please make sure to hit that poll up real quick and make sure that you give an answer so I can make a true to form decision on it. And like I said, I'll let everybody know once we're going to get going on it. Make sure that if you do want to do it, that you're getting into the Discord with us. If you're not, and if you have struggles with the Discord, please let us know. We'll help you figure it out. Very cool, Lisa. Very cool. Let's see here. I don't think I missed anybody. So where are we at now? 82. Okay. I'll check it now and see where we're at. All right. So it says, do we want to start working on the cold case project? 78% said yes. 15 said unsure, and 5% said no. Okay. It kind of says 78% want to. Anybody that's unsure, is it due to like whether you know if you'll be able to? Is it because or you don't understand it, or is there a reason that I can answer for you if you're not sure? And the people that said no, I gotcha. You're just not interested. I understand completely. And then, like I said, it's just going to be a little extra thing that we do in the Discord. It's not something I'll be doing here. So it won't take up any of the shows here. It's just an extra added thing. Tomboy's in the house. Good to see you, Tomboy. Mistress Crow, hello. There's Molly's link. Thank you, Christy. For those of you that haven't done it, please go click that link. Jump over, check out Molly's channel and all her amazing things that she does. Please and thank you. Subscribe if you have not yet. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything she does. Molly is so very talented. So, Trish, I don't know if you were in here when I said this. I just saw you jump in. So I was bringing something new to the community that I've been thinking on a little bit, and then I lost my thought process on it, and SRB kind of reignited it. We talked about it this morning, and what I was thinking about doing is for anybody that's in the Discord or wants to be in the Discord is there's a couple different platforms out there that allow you to get involved in solving real cases. And as a group in the Discord, I thought it would be really interesting, having some fun, and a good unity program to bring us all together as well, and something in the Discord for us to do as a whole. What it does is it lets us link in. I think you are, and if you're not, Trish, we can get you in there. It gives us the option. They give us the tools to help to solve real cases that are cold cases right now, missing, murdered, suspicious death. Things like that, okay? And as a whole, we could work together within the Discord. A couple times a week, we jump into this specific channel in there, and we work on it. And there's going to be places where you can drop pieces of information if you have it, or ideals, or whatever. And through this platform that we'd be using, got me stumped. Welcome. Good to see you. And we'll be able to, like I said, work together and hopefully help to solve some cold cases for real. You know what I mean? Not only would we be doing some good, it would bring us together closer. Are we good? Anything any better? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you see and hear me now? Hello? Yoo-hoo. How about now? Are we good? I don't know what's going on. My damn internet service being stupid again. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know. Anyway, did you hear everything I said, Trish? By chance? Be good. Be good. Be good. Good to hear. Good to hear. All right, we got 28 peeps in here, 21 likes. We're catching up. Samir Dalby, welcome. Okay, so Trish, are you still in here? All right, I'll go through it one more time then because I think I froze. So, hold on here. Let's see if that helps. Okay. So what it was for those of you that are already in the Discord, it's an activity. We moved the beds around and stacked them. We made bunk beds there, so we have plenty of room for activities and things now in the Discord. Okay. And what it is there's a platform we can go through in the Discord and get together as a whole. And it allows you to work on true and real cold cases that are unsolved, of course. And I figured it would be a really interesting thing for us to do, and it would be very helpful. We'd actually be helping in crime, true crime, trying to solve cases that are out there that are unsolved. There's murder cases, missing persons cases, suspicious death, and a couple other categories that we can get involved in. We can pull these cases. They give us the tools and everything we need to do it, and we can go into our Discord, pull it all in there, and work together as a unit. Like I said, for anybody that's interested, I ran a poll on it, and try to solve some of these cold cases. And I thought that would be a really, really interesting thing to do if anybody's interested. And like I said before, we're all in here for a reason. We all have a passion and a love for this kind of thing. So all the people that are in here are very smart people with open minds, critical thinkers, and I think it would be amazing. And anybody that's not in the Discord, don't worry about it. We can get you in there if you want to join. And if that's the case, I think it would be awesome. I would love to do it. And we'd actually, like I said, we'd actually be helping in the true crime world. Like right now, I'm a commentary channel. We come in, we talk about different cases, we work things out in some ways, but this way we would have the evidence, the things we need to work on this case, and then we could add things to it, take things from it, whatever we need. And we actually are able to take the things we come up with and update this platform with it, and it helps them to help to go solve these cases. So that's the idea. That's awesome. And good to hear. And I've never seen another channel do it before. So I thought, it's something new that you guys would be quite interested in for those of you that are into it. And in those of you that aren't, I understand, some people won't have time. Some people don't have the interest to do that kind of stuff. And that's understandable completely. It won't interact with my channels and my shows or any of that stuff. That's separate completely. Thank you, Moonlit. I appreciate that. Yeah, and we all like to interact in a lot of ways. So, and it's a perk that will be, at some point, I will add it back to when you become a member. You have to become a member to jump in the Discord. So right now, you don't have to be a member to get in there. So get in there while you can. Everybody else that's in there already, you'll be grandfathered in. You won't have to be a member at some point. But everybody else, at some point, I will stop that and I will make it members only again. And we'll go from there. But right now, don't worry about that, okay? Just if you want to get in there, let us know. And we'll get it set up and get it going. That's what Cold Justice does. Love that show. See, there you go. Sounds awesome. It's understandable, Lisa. It's no big deal. Some people are just too busy. You know what I'm saying? And I understand real life is always first before this stuff. So. Let me see. Is that thing where you get a pack of evidence mailed to you, Diego, and you try to figure out what about it? That's a game that they actually have, Matt. This is a different thing. This is like the real deal thing. Okay, it's a website per se. I log into it, and it sends me the details on the cases. You click on each case whatever case you want to run, and then we start working on it until we get it done. It's not in the Discord that's interested in the Discord. So get set up with Miss Brandy or Cassie, and we will get you guys in there one way or another. But we're not starting right now with it, so there's time. I just wanted to see what everybody thought of it before we get moving. So that's all. Welcome, Matt. Good to see you. And like I said, at least I understand. Some people are just so busy, and I get it. So don't worry about that. Yeah, we'll get you in there, Matt. No worries, bud. Thank you, Christy. I was at one point a while back, I was trying to think, hey, Sally Shepardson, welcome. Good to see you. I was trying to think of something that we could do as a community, within the Discord. There's other things we have plans to do in there too, but that it would be fun, one, and two, that we could all do together. Okay. So I thought that would be amazing. And thus far, it seems like everybody that's interested in it is really interested in it. So that's amazing. I'm excited for that. I'm not a multitasker. I'm a hyper. I understand that completely because I do the same thing. There's the link if you want to get in the Discord. How you do it? Just email Miss Brandy at mama350@aol.com. Title it Discord link and state your YouTube name so we know who you are, and she will send you back a link and you'll be in. True Crime X says, well, you got another sub today. Well, that's awesome. Thank you and welcome. Wonderful to see you guys. So yeah, that's something we're going to be starting new within the Discord, folks. So give us a week or so to get everything worked out, figure out everybody. And I'll put together, once you're in the Discord, we'll have a little meeting in the members chat with everybody to make sure that they're involved. They want to be involved, and we'll put you all in there into that specific group in that room, and we'll get it rolling from there. So awesome. I'm excited for that, and I'm grateful to see people joining it. Absolutely. Good morning, Luz Theron. Good to see you. The cat lady's in the house. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm sorry, dear. I'm trying. I think Cat Lady would probably be interested in that too, and she's in the Discord. She'd be probably interested in helping and getting involved. That's about as loud as I can go, Cat Lady. I don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out. Sorry you're going through that. Oh, definitely, Bianca, definitely. And like I said, we'd be working on real deal crimes, that trying to help, whoever has the case, trying to help them solve it. And any tips or ideals or anything we come up with, we can update the system with for them. And then they keep in contact with us, as well. So, and it would be all set up so that everybody could see everything, that we could show you all that stuff and everything. So yes, everybody would have access to the stuff within the group there. Welcome, Niles. Good to see you. Scully's in the house. Welcome back, brother. Good to see you today. Niles says, Mr. Dago, so we will get evidence on real cold cases, get to work to. Yes. 100%. That's exactly what it is, Niles. And that's what we'd be doing. And like I said, we all already have a passion for this. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. And a lot of us are very smart, open-minded, critical thinkers. And that's what this takes. You have to be able to open your mind and think of different things, step outside the box sometimes. And we have people that have specific, what am I trying to say here? We have people in here that are good at specific things. Okay. And each person would do their part however they want to, and see how that would work out. Nope, I got it, Cat Lady, and I responded to it. You're in here. It's in our members chat. In fact, well, hold on a minute here. Where did it go? I just saw it. Where is it? It was funny. Here it is, right here. This cat lady posted this in the members chat yesterday, I think.
Need a lift?
Yeah, I did. Thank you. Got a question for you, though. How do you not know I'm like a serial killer or something?
Doubtful. The odds of two serial killers being in the same car at the same time? Astronomical.
That's hilarious, cat lady. I love it. I love it. Cassie said I added the help solve the case channel in void. Thank you, Cass. Very funny, cat lady. Thank you for putting that in there. Did you really? That's funny as hell, Scully. I love it. So, one more time, since we got other people jumping in here, I'm working on something in our Discord, something to do within the Discord for the community. It's working on real deal, true crime, real cases, folks. Helping to solve cases that are out there that are cold cases. Missing persons, murder cases, suspicious deaths, people that are fugitives, things like that. I probably wouldn't touch on that one too much, but the other ones definitely. And it would be within our Discord. We link into a platform and a website that gives us the tools, the evidence, everything we need to work on this case and to try to figure it out and to try to help solve it, because they're cold cases. Obviously, they're struggling with it. With different minds working on this, you never know what we could come up with. So it's as an activity per se with us all to work together on it. I think it would be awesome, quite interesting, and it would be fun for a lot of us because we enjoy doing stuff like that. So as a whole unit, we would be working on these cases one at a time, of course, within our Discord. And like I said, it brings us closer together, for one. For two, we're actually out here helping in the crime world, trying to help solve some cases that, we don't have access to normally. But within this platform we have, and they give us the tools, they help us with things. It's run by detectives, and I can't remember. I showed the Blue Crew. There's a couple detectives that run it, and I believe there's some forensic guys involved as well. So that would be the whole point to this. So again, anybody that, we already got a bunch of people in the Discord, but anybody that would be interested that's not in the Discord, just get a hold of us and let us know. Like I said, because that's what we do, guys. When we're not in here on YouTube doing this, if we are watching TV, most of us, I can probably say, are watching either the ID channel, Unsolved Mysteries, or something like that. That it's our mind. That's where we go. So we'd be doing some good, I think, and we'd be able to come together, and it would be fun. So that's the whole point behind it. And like I said, if you want to jump into Discord, if you're interested, let us know. We'll get you set up right there through that link and get you on in there. Yeah, which is pretty wild, don't you think, Luz? What was Bethany Funk actually doing before the murders of the Idaho Four? It's a good question, Sally. What were they both doing, in my opinion? I would love to know. I said the other day, or Dateline, yes, or 48 Hours. It's all we watched, I think. I'd like to know what went on in Idaho the week before. All right, so do me a favor, instead of running the thing, just do me if anybody in here, other than the people that already did, or you can do it again, would be interested in doing something like that with us, throw a 1 in the chat for me right now. Good point, Moonlight. Very good point. Yeah, I agree, Christy. I wish we had a way to do that. I wish the Wayback Machine actually worked and took you way back and you could see what was going on for that week before. You know what I mean? That would be amazing to me. Sally said 1. Christy said 1. Moonlit said 1. Got Me Stumped said 1. Miss Tandy. Awesome. Oh, jeez. Okay, cat lady. I'm working on putting something together within our Discord. You're in there already. And there's a platform, it's a website you go to. Since we're all in here, we follow true crime, we're all very much passionate about it, so on and so forth. Well, I've been thinking about it, putting something in there in the Discord for us all to get together and do together as a whole, like a whole unit, where we get sent through this platform, this website, all the tools we need, the evidence, the crime scene photos and autopsy stuff and all that. It all gets sent to us to solve real unsolved crimes, cat lady, real cold cases. And we'd be helping these police departments and different agencies to solve these crimes. There's murders, suspicious deaths, fugitives, people that are missing, all that, all sorts of different crimes in there that are active crimes that are unsolved. And we get all the ability to get involved in it to help to solve it by putting our heads together like we do and doing a think tank, so on and so forth. And we can update their website and their page with our ideas and things like that. So it's quite interesting, and I thought it would be fun for us all to do together as a whole. Thank you again, Christy. No worries, Lisa. I appreciate it. That's why I was asking. So if anybody's interested, let us know. Throw one in the chat, and if you're not in the Discord and you want to do it, let us know. We'll get you in the Discord. Okay, Cassie, thank you. Lucy, your trip, Heather. I watched the show because hearing out of Utah, there was where a brief was filed that was written by ChatGPT. Wow, that's crazy, Heather. Yeah, there's manhunts for all sorts of stuff in there. It's pretty wild. So, but anyway, like I said, and if that's the case, you're interested, we'll get it rolling for you. We'll get you in the Discord. We'll get it moving. If not, no worries. No worries. Like I said, it won't affect my channel, my shows, none of that stuff. It's completely separate. Hallucinated. That's wild. That is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. All right, guys. So welcome again. Thank you for joining us today. What was I doing? All right. Let's see what we got going on. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to get this set up to pull up here for you guys. Give me 1 second. All right, you guys. I don't know what's going on. It must be the first we had storms again last night. This is weird. I don't understand why it's doing this. Let me see here. Show. What is going on? I wonder if it changed. Let me check that. That could be what it is. All right, let's see something. Maybe it is the glasses. Who knows? We'll see here. Hold on. Okay, let's see here. All right, now it's working. I guess my internet was jagging again. Sorry, guys. I can agree with that, True Crime X. I have issues with it too. It makes me a little nervous, honestly. All right, so just get some updates going on the Jack and Lily situation out of Nova Scotia, Canada. Nova Scotia. Computer's doing its own thing. I can agree with that. All right, here we go. Good Lord. Sorry for the delay, everybody.
Last place her children were seen at. Number one red flag in this case, besides the fact that the mother left the last place her children were seen at, moved away, lawyered up, and doesn't care to speak to media to raise awareness for her missing children, is the fact that there are so many inconsistencies in this case that came directly from the mother and stepfather. Daniel has been the one doing most of the talking, and the more he talks, the more we pick up small inconsistencies that may show a script was being followed initially, but obviously as time goes by, it's harder and harder to keep the script. Especially when people are questioning things, and the need to over-explain comes in. What do they usually say? The truth is usually easy. It's when someone lies, then things become sticky. Anyway, let's talk about a few of their inconsistent statements. At first they said they were feeding the baby in the bedroom. Let's keep in mind that Meadow is around 16 months already. Shouldn't she be in the kitchen with the other 2 kids, having breakfast? Then it was said that they kept the house quiet so that the baby could sleep. As time went by, Daniel said Malaya was playing on her phone. Was that before or after she discovered the children were missing? Hopefully that phone was checked. If you remember initially, they said that they never saw the children that morning, but heard them playing in another part of the house. Then the story changed again to say that they did see Lily that morning. She kept popping in and out of the bedroom, but they never saw Jack. They only heard Jack in the kitchen. Let's not forget they said at one point they heard the children playing out in the yard. But they didn't know they were there, because the door was silent. Which is it? Malaya told Belinda that the children always played outside under supervision, and then another time, says they like to wander. Just so many inconsistencies that it's hard to not question what really happened to Jack and Lily. Both Malaya and Daniel are pushing the abduction theory, and don't believe that the children wandered into the woods. She even went as far as to say they don't know stranger danger and will go with anyone. Isn't that all the more reason to be up and supervising the 2 young children?
Welcome, Michael. Good to see you, brother. I hope you're having a great day today. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for that. Appreciate it very much. All right, guys, let's back up. That channel has dropped like 3 or 4 different little videos on this so far since last night. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Goes by with no sign of missing siblings, Lily and Jack. As far as I know, there were no official searches going on for the children this past weekend. No solid leads or confirmed sightings, or any sightings at all actually, since they were reported missing. The last known sighting of the children was in New Glasgow, on May 1st. They were seen with their mother, stepfather and little sister, Meadow. After that, no one
Okay, so that information, I don't know where that came from, but that's something new to us because we were told they were seen with family. If that's true, then that tells us where they were seen. The Done One, welcome. Good to see you. Molly's in the house. Good morning, Miss Molly. Okay, so that gave us that answer, if that's true.
really knows what happened to them, but one thing we know for sure. No child disappears into thin air. We have now confirmed that baby Meadow is in the custody of her mother. I must say this was surprising news, since she has 2 children that are missing. Wondering if there was a condition for her to keep the baby, such as to move out of the house she shared with Daniel. Many are questioning why Malaya was able to keep the baby, and why the baby was not taken into CPS custody. Daniel expressed that when he went to get visitation with the baby, he was denied. So why deny Daniel and grant Malaya custody of the baby? Something doesn't add up. Some are suggesting that she may have claimed that there was some domestic violence or something on the part of Daniel. I mean, they were both in the house when Lily and Jack vanished, so why does one have the baby, and the other one completely denied even a visitation? Make that make sense. Someone even suggested that maybe Malaya is setting up her defense already, with the help of her mother. It's a very good question. The baby was set to stay with Daniel's cousin, who recently spoke out. She said Malaya then changed her mind, took the baby and left with her mother. When Malaya was asked whether she wanted to search or stay with the baby, she decided to stay with the baby. Others have been pointing out that many photos were posted of Jack and Lily before baby Meadow arrived. The photos of the two got less after that, unless of course she deleted stuff because they included Daniel. Something else I want to add is that Daniel specifically asked people to stop attacking Malaya because her mental health will affect his daughter, Meadow. Another very telling point. What do you guys think? Why does
Thank you for joining us, True Crime X. I hope to see you again soon.
Malaya have full access to the baby, while Daniel is denied?
That's a good point. Dunwin just said, in my opinion, this mother got up with her children, decided they would not be going to school, called out to the school, let them out to play in the backyard, and went back to bed. That could be Dunwin. That's interesting. That could very well be, and off they go, you know. That's sad, but that's possible. Okay. Let me see here. Like I said, there's not a lot out on this yet. Our CMP's holding this real close to their vest. So we don't have a whole lot to talk about on that one. Just, again, hopes and prayers that they find him soon. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Moonlit. Thank you for being here today. Appreciate you. Yeah, there's nothing else really. I do have something else, though, that I want to review with you guys in regards to, moving on, the Summer Wells situation. As you guys know, I follow Michelle After Dark pretty close, and I love to review her stuff. And she came up with something interesting that I hadn't seen. I haven't seen a lot of Michelle's case in a while. We're going to be looking at Sebastian Rogers a little bit today, too. Anytime anything new comes out with his name on it, I look at it, talk about it, review it, and see what we think of it. So that's what we're doing today with these cases. Hold on a minute here. Cat Lady said, Dago, if they didn't have good cell service, how was she able to call the school at the time she did? Here's what I think happens there, Cat Lady. I thought that in the beginning, too, about the cell service. They must have a landline in that house. You see what I'm saying? They probably do, because it is out there so far. They have very bad cell service. She would have to leave and go somewhere to get a call out. So they have to have, or I would imagine, probably have a landline connected to that house. That's my opinion, of course. If not, then yeah, somebody had to leave to go make that call and drive up the road a bit to get a signal, because it's so bad and so far out there that there is no, even the first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, anybody that showed up out there, their radios weren't even working. That's how bad it is out there. It's the middle of nowhere. So I would imagine there's a landline. That's just my opinion, Cat Lady. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. But, that would have to work. Same with the 911 call. Agreed, Luz. Because in the beginning, I said that. I said to the Blue Crew, I was like, guys, how she had to have left to go make that 911 call. When she did, what was the deal, And then somebody brought into my thoughts that if they have a landline, that would make more sense. So that's what my thought was, Cat Lady, in the very beginning, because the dogs followed the scent of the kids to the end of the driveway. And I said that sounds to me like the kids either were picked up there or they left in a car. And if she left, because if they had to use their cell phones to do this, to make 911 calls and things like that, then she left. She left the property. How far did she have to go? We don't know. And I had even said, did they check her car? I don't know. I don't trust anybody in this right now. So, especially not her. And that's just based on what I've seen. So I don't know. And how far did she have to go? But I imagine that maybe they do have a landline because the service is so bad out there. You know what I mean? But still, good points. Very good points. My reasoning, she is the one that called out. She is the one that said they heard them in the backyard. She is the one that said they could not hear the door. Very good points there, Dunwan. Very good points. You guys are on point today, that's for sure. I wonder if photos show any hydro phone lines outside that prop. Yeah, that's a good point. We'll have to take a look back at the property and see if there's any phone lines there. That would show if there's phone lines connecting to that house. Good point. Very, very good point. Okay, hold on. Let me get this other thing loaded up. Does anybody else have any thoughts or feelings on this case with these kids? Let me see something here. Hold on a minute. I'm going to see if I can find a photo of that house real fast. That's a good point too, Luz. Good point. Okay, this is the rear view, an aerial rear view. I don't see any wires connecting to the trailer. Am I missing something maybe? Could they be underground? I don't know how things work, in Canada, but I don't see any kind of a satellite dish. And I don't see any wires connecting to the sides of the trailer unless I'm missing them. And if that's the case, then that would tell me that the cell phones were used. And therefore that takes me back to that other point. Very good point. Let me see. Is there a front view? Hold on. Okay, here's another look. Okay, the only wire I see is right here, and that looks to be going to the electric meter right there. Is there a phone line tied to that? Possibly. But I can't tell for sure. There's nothing else coming in here. I don't see a phone box, and I know what to look for with those because I used to do cable and phone and stuff. I don't see anything, you guys, unless it's just running direct into from the ground up inside the trailer. Yeah, they have electric, Matt. That's there. There's the electric meter right there. I don't know how they do things and wire things in Canada. If it's all above ground, if it's underground. I mean, the electric's above ground, of course, but oh, in Canada, okay. See, here in the U.S., the phone box could be on the corner, the sides, and there'd be a wire going to it. I don't see anything. Usually comes off of a pole, and that's, you know what I mean? I don't see anything there. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. See these? There's dual wires there. That's the electric line right there. So that could be either phone or cable. I just don't see where it comes into the trailer at, unless it drops back there somewhere. We need a closer look at the front of the property. There's the pole right there. Okay. I'd like to see the top of that pole. One second here. These are blurry. Damn it. I wonder if it makes a difference if I bring it down. Nope. See, and that makes it hard to even see that line. Okay. See the two? There and there. So that's one of two things. That's definitely electric. I know electric. That's smaller, so that's either phone or cable or both. Okay. Because a lot of places their Wi-Fi, their phone runs off of their cable system. So they could also have Wi-Fi, use their phone, or yeah, that's true too, because there's calling apps that you can use through Wi-Fi, guys. So that could be too. Good point, Alicia. Good point. So that could be the internet, Wi-Fi, that line right there, or phone line, or the cable. Either one of the three, all hooked into one. I don't see a cable box or a phone box. That could be on the front or the back side, but there's nothing on this side except for the electrical box. Well, this post right here, Cat Lady, that's the electrical wiring right there. That's all. And then over here, there's trees. Let me see if it backs out. Hold on. Nothing there. I don't see anything coming in from the back either. There's something coming down from up here. See it up here? Or no, that's a clothesline going from back there up to the trailer. Okay. Right. That's it, Cat Lady. Let me check something, you guys. Hold on. I have an idea. I got an idea. 1 minute. That's a good catch, though. Thank you, Alicia, about the Wi-Fi thing. I forgot that there's different calling services you can use via Wi-Fi. All right. So let's try this real quick. Let me see here. Show. What was the address again? Does anybody remember the address? Like the actual address, the house number? I know what road it's on. I know it's Gerlach Road, and I know it's in Pictou County, 289. I'm trying to remember the actual number. Raquel, well, hello and welcome. Thank you, Christy, so much. Trying to think. I had it before. I actually had it memorized at one point in time. I can't think of it right now. Molly, are you in here? Do you have the actual address, the house number? Make sure you guys are hitting that like button when you come through the door, guys, if you would, please, and thank you. Well, yeah, that's true, too. Sketchy. Wi-Fi be sketchy. You live out that way, too, right? Gotcha. That's a good point. That's why I was thinking maybe a landline phone line, but I don't know what this area is like. Are you here, Molly Mall? Oh, really? I thought we had it before. 1407. Let me try it. Thank you, T2014. There it is. Bingo. Let's see what we see here. Okay, so there's a satellite dish right there. There's the power line. That's the electric going there. Hold on, let me get this direction a little bit more. Yeah, that looks like that right there. Now that's a power ground. That could be a phone line right there. But I don't see it going to the house. That's the thing. Hold on. You guys aren't getting to see what I'm looking at. I didn't share it with you. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a ding dong. Okay, so there's a satellite dish right here. So that would be their TV service. I don't know about any kind of an internet. Yeah, they called something. Hold on, folks. That would be the wife calling. Okay, so we were just trying to figure out how Cat Lady had brought up a point, how she made the call without leaving because of cell phone service and stuff. They had bad service out there. That was all. So there is it looks like it could be a phone line there, but it doesn't look like it connects to the house. But there is a satellite. I don't know if you can get internet service through satellite in Canada or not. So anyway, there it is. Sorry about the phone being loud, you guys. Sorry. CZ, hello and welcome. Sorry, Cat Lady. I think the point was they called. How did she, when she left, did she, we talked about that before. Being that the dogs followed the scent to right here, did the kids leave in a car from the house, or did they stand here and somebody may have picked them up? That's the whole point. See, I thought that too, SRB, but then somebody said something about a landline, so I don't know. That's not 100%. If you have bad cell service, you're going to have bad Wi-Fi TV. That's kind of my thought because it's signal. The satellite, I don't know, Cat Lady, you live in Canada. Do you get internet through satellite through one of these dishes like this, or does it come through like wires? Like we do here in the US. Hey, Summer, good to see you. Just curious. And I didn't know if they buried their stuff out there or what. Somebody said phone box, but at the road. I don't see one unless that's what that is. They're smashed on the ground. Nope, right there. Wait, see it? See that right there? I believe that's a phone box right there. So that tells me that the line would be buried if they have like landline phone service. That's it right there. And then the line, that's how you turn it on and off and you work on it. That's the same thing we have here. They bury those lines and they go up to the house that way. So that's what that is, folks. That's what I thought, Matt. Same thing we have some places here. So they could have a landline. There you go. That answers that question. Which would make sense. Then that means they wouldn't have to leave to call 911 or the call off to school or anything like that. Bingo. Good point. Good call, Matt. It is. I think the whole reason, though, SRB, was because people were wondering if she left the property that morning, is it possible that when she did, she may have taken the kids with her? That's why that was being asked, I believe. Because, you know, people do suspect things from the mom. Hey, JC, good to see you. Scott Metalhead, good welcome, bro. So there's that. Anyway, but good catch, Matt. Thank you for calling that out. I was looking for something like that and wasn't sure, but that's it right there. Bingo. So now we know there's a landline. If it's on or off, we don't know that, but they do have it. But she did say she had to leave the property to make a call. I'm sure she said that. Okay. Sounds good then. Which means that the landline might have not been on then. No problem. And that was being questioned. I questioned that in the beginning. I think that's what Cat Lady was questioning, and other people have said that in the Facebook groups I've seen. They questioned that when Malaya left the property that day, could she have had the kids in the car with her and left them somewhere, took them to somebody, did something? You know, that was one of the thoughts that somebody had. Many people actually have had that, and I thought that myself possibly. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with it, and we don't know. I still think that it's possible that they got ready for school. I have a couple different theories, and they walked on out here like they did every single day to wait for the school bus, which didn't come because they weren't there at the right time, and they were called off of school at 6:30 that morning. So yes, Molly, they did. And then it's possible that somebody came on by and picked them up, and off they went, sadly. Christy said maybe she was sleeping, and maybe when he was sleeping, she took the kids to her mom's. It could be. I don't know. There's too many things that it could be at this point. That's a good point, Christy. And then she came back like nothing happened. Who knows? But, you know, that goes back to me. If it was to leave Daniel, like to separate their relationship, to get out of it, you didn't have to do all this to do that. You could have just done it. You know what I mean? I've heard something that could be possible. Right. And it could be. I don't know why she would do all this, though, if it's just to get away from him, unless it's something maybe her mother was forcing her to do. And they're going through all this rigmarole. Her mother is very, very manipulative, very strange. I agree with Christy on that one. It could be. There could be another reason behind it. It could have something to do with the native thing. Okay. I don't know, you guys. There's a lot of unanswered questions with this case. There's a lot of very weird red flags with this case. I don't know. But I don't imagine anybody would go through all of this just to separate to break up with somebody. You don't have to. Just break up with them and move on. Okay. That's the weird thing with this. Now, if there's something else with it that, you know, that's a little deeper that goes with it, then maybe I can get it. But still, if she had have left the baby with someone to help search, there was a pretty good chance she might have had the baby taken away for one reason or another. And I wondered that in a sense too, Cat Lady, that if the original plan was to leave the baby with Daniel's cousin Logan, and then her mom says something to her, and all of a sudden, no, she decides not to do that, takes the baby, and then leaves the next day. That's a little strange too. Am I the only one who thinks this might have been pre-planned to get these kids away from the parents? I mean, no, that's what I'm talking about. It could have been. It could have been her family who she hadn't seen in a while. They moved way out here to BFE, okay, and hadn't seen her mom. And her mom sounds very manipulative. Maybe her mom got pissed and said, I'm tired of this. I want to see my grandkids. They're blaming it on Daniel because that's who she moved in with, and maybe that's what happened. That's why she left with the baby. You're right. She should have just taken the kids and left. That's my point, and that's what Alicia said 2 weeks ago. Welcome, Mrs. Amir, and no worries about being late. No worries at all. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was, yeah, I don't know, you know. That's a good point. I'd like to know how often she was in contact with her mom before this happened. Because I still find it strange that she was trying to have these kids, their native status registered, and it wouldn't happen. And they kept trying to do it and was denied. The kids go missing, and all of a sudden, boom, it's approved. That's a little weird. And why didn't you have Meadows status approved too? You know what I mean? That's strange. There's some questions that are, you know, real questions that I have with this, truly. Right, but she should have taken both little ones with the baby because it would have been a hell of a lot easier than... yeah, amen to that one. Amen to that. Was Daniel abusive in any way that we know? I haven't seen nor heard any of that, Matt. There's not been anything negative about him put out there. But that doesn't mean, like I said, we know what we see. We know what they let us see. We know what they show us. Okay, people are can be deceiving. We could be looking at Malaya in a completely different way than what she actually is. Okay, we could see Daniel in a completely different way than what he actually is. We don't know. Well, and that's, I don't know. She says it shouldn't have been difficult to give them status. And see, others, I don't know. Trish, are you still in here? Trish Crow said, I think the other day, that it is difficult at times to have native status approved. So why? I don't know I don't know how that works. So I can't really speak on that until I have details on it. So many questions, but I'm going to keep quiet on this. Well, I mean, there you are. So is it normal to have issues, Trish, and difficulties getting native status approved normally? Does it depend on like the tribe, what's the deal with it? And thank you for being here and for being able to answer our questions, dear. One moment here. What you say? It's difficult due to tribal politics. Okay. And yes, it can be, depends on the family line you follow. Okay. So how does it, why does it make sense then that as soon as the kids go missing, like she was denied so many times, then the kids go missing and they're automatically approved, it seemed like. You know what I mean? That's the thing that I find strange. JC said, I think someone took them. Can one kid get upset and not another? Good point. That's good. These are good questions, you guys. Truly. Tribal council felt bad, and the only way to keep the kids with native families is to make them a tribal member. Aha. Good point. Thank you, Trish. Alicia's saying that could make sense. Is it normal for just some kids in the family to be accepted? Now, yeah, that's another question, Trish, because there's 3 of them. The 2 little ones that are missing, and then the baby, Meadow, was not approved for it. Or did she apply to have the status approved? I wonder that too. That I don't know. Yes, Matt. I believe the one that there is. Yeah, the baby's the only one that didn't get status approved. Good Lord. Hold on, folks. Okay, let me see here. Wasn't the bio dad also indigenous? I don't know, Dunwan. A lot of people have asked that question. I have no answer for that. I'm sorry. I saw what I thought was a picture of him. He doesn't look to be, but that doesn't mean anything. He could still be. The law can go in and take baby, but if a tribal member, there are treaties and laws. The state tribal member kids have to go into tribal member services. Gotcha. Thank you, Trish. These are good questions, guys, and good, I'm wonderful, very grateful that Trish is here to be able to answer these questions. Tribal social services will be involved. Okay, let me ask you this question then, Trish. Like right out. Let's say, for instance, the situation was what it was, that maybe Malaya's mother decided she wanted to get the kids away from this situation because she doesn't like what she thinks is going on there. Okay. And she is holding something over Malaya's head, maybe put some kind of fear in her, and she goes and takes the kids and doesn't let anybody know and takes them onto a reservation with her. Are local authorities outside of the reservation allowed to investigate on the reservation to see into what's going on to get the kids back? And will the tribes on the reservation work with local police? That's the big question I have at this point. Okay, Alicia just said that RCMP can with a warrant. And does the tribe have to cooperate with that? That's my other question. And is it different with, like, she's Micmac? Is it different than like say, for instance, Micmac than with like what is it, Wabasha or Cheyenne, or different tribes? Is it different rules, different laws? The grandmother would be charged federally with tribal court. Most tribes work with local police, but she would be under tribal jurisdiction. So is she allowed to hide them on the reservation and not have to worry about that? Thank you, Tippy, and welcome. I'm a member of Little Traverse Bay Band of Ottawa. That's awesome. Cat Lady said there's no way the officials would find out she has the kids. It would be found out. Wouldn't find. I see what you're saying, Cat Lady. That's my thought too. Alicia now says that it depends on the tribe there. That's what I wondered, if different tribes have different laws and different beliefs and stuff. In the communities that don't have their own independent police department, the RCMP provides policing. Right. Okay. And that, yeah. They aren't going to hide the kids while there is an investigation going on. Gotcha. I didn't pronounce it right. I'm sorry. I am sorry. No, she's not allowed to hide them. It's still a crime. Thank you, Trish. And let me go back. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it. Adawa? Isn't that what I said the first time? Adawa? If I didn't, I'm sorry. I would never, ever purposely say that the wrong way. I apologize. Did I say it right that time? Adawa? Oh. Traverse or Traverse? Travers. Sorry. You think living in Ohio, I would get all these names down, since everything in my state is named after native names. Is it a long A, like Trashverse? Trashverse. Traverse. You guys are killing me. I'm trying. I swear I'm trying. Traverse. Okay. Sorry, guys. And thank you, Trish, so much for your info and your input. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said before, Wisdom would be able to answer these questions in the past, and sadly, she's not with us anymore. So I really am grateful that you're part of this community and able to answer these questions. Birds. Trying. I'm trying. I swear I'm trying. Did you record me? Birds. It cut you off, Alicia. It's okay. I got it. Let's see. They're all questioned out. I know, and that's the thing, is there's a lot of weird questions with this that don't match. Okay. I don't know. I don't know that we're gonna get these answers, you guys. I just, like I said in the beginning of this case, I had a bad gut feeling, and it was that the kids weren't with us anymore. They were deceased, sadly. I even said that if they're on this property, they're probably buried on the property, and I hate saying stuff like that, but that's how I felt. Well, once we got into this a little bit more and realized some of the stuff going on around the outside of the case and the underlying stuff, maybe that's not true. And I started to wonder that if maybe some of the other outlying family members, maybe the biological father's side of the family did something, maybe. But then we saw her mom, Malea's mother. After seeing Malea act strange the way she did and knowing what the mother did, I was like, wait a minute, something's not right with this. And it made me wonder, is this something that went on? Well, then we talked about it a little bit in the background, and it was, kind of the, thank you. Kind of the, like, did the mom get involved, and did she, sorry, my son was talking to me for a minute. Did she do something? Is there something? Because the mother, like we heard an interview with somebody that stated that she tried to call there, and the mother was like, "Get off the phone. Who are you talking to?" Blah blah blah. And then she answered and said, "Malea's phone. Who is this?" Blah blah blah. She's just very manipulative, it seems, and rude and mean. And it's like, why? So did she have something to do with this? That was the other question. And I was like, okay, who knows? So it's definitely a hole you could fall into and come out with different answers, in my opinion. So that's that. But we're not getting answers. I think that the RCMP probably has some answers that they're holding real close until they can get proof of what they need to do certain things. They're not going to like screw up their investigation. Yeah, and that was the other side of it too. Like Daniel's mother, because of the fight that was going on in the driveway there that day with Daniel's cousin, his aunt, and then Malea's family, they were thrown off property because they were blaming it on Malea's family was blaming it on Daniel, which again takes me back to her mom thinking that he had some involvement because she doesn't like him. Okay. So that happened too. So his mother pushed her off the property. She has to know something. I'd bet money on that. Yeah, that's my opinion too, that she may know something about this, his mom, about not per se what happened, but maybe the situation. And I've always wondered why we never heard from his mother or his brother. That's something else I was curious about. Just saying. Perhaps there were issues with her before this, and this was the last straw. It could be. Very, very well. Yeah, I know, Cat Lady. It's crazy, and it has been crazy the whole time. So, but anyway, I'm going to give you a little update on something. And hopefully we'll get some new info here soon. I check the website all the time. They haven't updated anything. I think last time was like May 28th or maybe the 6th of June. Is weird. So anyway, and there's a lot of creators covering this now. There's a channel that puts something out that said the secret inside their home. I don't know what the hell that would be. I'm curious though. Hold on. And you gotta watch what you listen to. I mean, you can listen to all of this because I listen to a bunch of stuff. It's how you take it and what you believe. Remember that, because there's been some crazy shit put out here from people that just like, what are you talking about? There, I saw something where all of them, both families and everybody, work together and they're splitting money because they sold them. We don't have any proof of that, so don't put stuff like that out. You know what I mean? In Stitches, welcome. Good to see you. Bingo. That's exactly what I just said. I think we should be careful what we watch and put out there if it's just a bunch of rumors and not facts. That's what I was just saying. Yes, because we don't know, guys. We don't know. That's the sad part. There was a 16-year-old who killed her neighbor, and she dug the hole first, walked her from the bus. That doesn't seem likely to premeditate it. That's wild. That's crazy. Hang on. One of my biggest issues is the fact that the mother and grandmother and that family did not go to the vigil. And I don't like that, but they did say it was because of the threats and the things that people have said. So I guess I can understand that. But Daniel was getting threats and negative things said about him, and he still chose to go. So I guess you take it how you take it. All right, let me load this move on to the next thing we're going to talk about and load this in. All right, guys. So going on, moving on. That's the one that I was sent, Christy. Thank you. And all right, so the Summer Wells case, like I said, yeah, the Sloan, was it, what'd you say it was, Christy? Bella Sloan? Sloan Bella. That was one that I was going to look into because it showed up in my feed, and I was curious. I've never followed her before, but I'm curious. Somebody else said that she did a good job on it, too. So I'll have to go back to that. Thank you, Christy. That's where I saw it. Good. Okay, we'll have to go back and check that out. Right now, I'm going to jump into something Michelle put out in regards to the summer. Oops, sorry. Hold on one second. Sorry, my son was telling me he's having another baby. They just found out, so now I have. Jesus, I just had one. My daughter-in-law is pregnant with another one, and he's having that one now too. So we have 3 brand new babies around. So what happens when you open your mouth and you have baby fever? And now you're getting them all left and right. So you guys will be seeing that one here soon too, around Christmas time. He said. Welcome, CJ. Thank you guys. Appreciate it very much. Sounds like it's going to be a boy. We'll see. Another grandson. But again, this year, Michelle put this out. Like I said, I love to follow Michelle's stuff and review it with you guys because she makes a lot of sense to me in a lot of ways. This is in regards to a tip that dropped in regards to the Summer Wells situation. And I'm real curious about anything that comes out on this because it's been so quiet for so long. Yes, another baby, Tandy. This must be the year for babies, I guess. Welcome, King Christopher. Great to see you, bro. All right, let's see what this is. That will give me 6, 7, 8, 9 grandbabies at that point I'll have now. They just keep going and going and going. Mind you, I have 7 children, so.
That could break the case. Just decided milestone of 4 years since then 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared. Let's discuss.
Awesome, Christy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Monday morning, the 9th of June. In this video, we're going back to Rogersville in Tennessee, more specifically the Beech Creek community, which nestles itself in the hollers, in the no man's land between the town of Rogersville and the town of Kingsport.
Thank you, Callie.
And there, on the 15th of June, 2021, almost 4 years to the day, then 5-year-old Summer Wells was playing outside. According to her mother, Candice, she was helping Candice and her grandma plant flowers. She wanted to go back to the house, just a mere 30 or 40 yards away. And Candice walked a part of the way, you know, the attentive, loving mother that she was. She saw her going into the house. Summer wanted to see her brothers, but she went down to the basement and then she was never seen again. We all know that, don't we? We all know the planting flowers story, the candy from grandma, you know, all that. Washing her hands. Yeah, no. There's going to be some new media coming out in the next few days on the official family page on Facebook. Find Summer Wells. Got a couple of pictures of Dawn being filmed, probably for one of the local news channels that has followed this case from the jump. So there's a little flurry of activity that's going to happen. I'd really like a press conference from the TBI. That would be great, giving us some indication of progress. But I won't hold my breath on that one. Anyway, to the tip. This is from Jason K. Jensen, PI. We'll talk about Jason Jensen in a moment, but this was written yesterday at 1:32 a.m. my time, because Facebook puts your local time on posts. So literally just received a tip from someone, an anonymous caller from Rogersville, Tennessee. He didn't trust his information with anyone else. Thank you, sir, for your trust in me and for the tip on Summer Wells. Stay tuned, y'all. Interesting. Oh, he's commented on the Karen Reid case. Injuries on John O'Keefe's right arm. Little doubt to me caused by a dog. Yes, I know. Okay, let's not get distracted. So we've got more here. 14 hours ago, because of the sudden involvement in the Summer Wells case, I've decided to expedite my pursuit of a PI agency and PI license in Tennessee. A burglary turned abduction? Question mark. A burglary in the middle of the day when people are home. Okay, there's more. 14 hours ago again. I know what you did. Turn your brother in and they will go easy on you. You can remain anonymous. Call me on his phone. He's Utah based, so yes, that is Utah area code apparently. This is not about Summers Brothers. Hey you, you know I have your name. Confess where she is. Let's have a look at some of the comments here. If I'm reading this correctly, this anonymous person knows who did it. So why have they not gone straight to the right people to give the evidence? Seems like they're trying to stir things up. Jason comes back and says, you don't know everything. I know why, because I spoke to the person. Methinks you brought a spoon. Okay. Without a confession or direct evidence, things like eyewitness testimony without any digital evidence or direct evidence aren't always enough. That's true. If this man is a private investigator, surely he has turned the info in to the correct authorities. It is illegal to sit on information. Okay. Jason Jensen is a very well-respected private investigator and knows what he's doing. He's not going to do anything illegal. Summer Wells' case has been mishandled by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, especially considering the sheriff's son has been arrested for sexual battery. He's not trying to stir anything up, and the local police are not going to say anything after they investigate it. I was at Wetlands in Jonesboro, TN, 2 weeks after she went missing. Her mama and the mama were there having a good time. The only time she cried was when there was a crowd. If that was my daughter that was missing, I would be walking the streets trying to find her. The whole family is as guilty as can be. Seriously though, if this is legit, why doesn't this guy turn the names into the police? Might be more prudent to turn the tips to TBI or FBI rather than local law enforcement. More resources, more experience with these types of cases. Yeah, breaking the case. Hope so. So are we thinking she was actually abducted? Does the Wells know these people? Or the Wells really have no involvement? Okay, so this is Jason Jensen. He is a licensed PI in Utah and maybe some other states. This is his Twitter profile. He doesn't post much on Twitter. He posts mainly on JonBenet Ramsey, but he's also got commentary on Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain did not commit suicide. Actual language from the autopsy report. The deceased had a shotgun wound to the head. A shotgun was found at the scene. A note indicating suicidal intent was found in the residence. Context matters, however. The scene was staged. No way the shotgun would remain across his chest. The note was a forgery. The toxicology report was not received yet and indicated a lethal quantity of morphine. The scene...
That's a case I was going to look into too, you guys, was Kurt Cobain's case. I was kind of obsessed with it a while back. There's been more than one person that's come out and said that his death wasn't not suicide. It was definitely something else altogether different. So that's interesting to me to hear. Just to say.
Matched that described by one of the participants in a recent interview. O.J. Simpson. Let's summarise the JonBenet case. JonBenet was stunned with a stun gun. Gary owned a stun gun. JonBenet had black duct tape on her mouth. Gary owned black duct tape. I own black duct tape. I don't have a stun gun though. JonBenet was a molested child. Gary was also a convicted child molester. JonBenet was strangled with a ligature. Gary strangled his own mother with a ligature. Gary knew the ransom note was a junior yellow legal pad. The handwriting in the ransom note matches Gary's. So this is pertaining to Gary Oliva. The thing with Gary Oliva, I mean, I've done some live streams about him. He's a very promising suspect in the JonBenet case. However, apparently his DNA does not match the DNA found at the scene and in JonBenet's underwear. So you got to get over that. You've got to get over that. He likes his high-profile cases. He's been on various news pieces. He's been on Court TV. This is his website. Jason Jensen has 27 years investigative experience. He has a master's degree in criminal justice. He's the co-founder of the Cold Case Coalition, various organisations. Appeared on Court TV, closing arguments with Vinnie Politan. Jason Jensen started Jensen Cold Cases as a dream program of his detective agency. Jensen Investigations followed 10 years of service as a private investigator through Utah, Idaho, and Wyoming, serving victims nationwide. All right, what do I think about this? Well, the timing's interesting, just days away from the 4-year milestone, and given that we know that new media is coming out, is Jason Jensen wanting to get on that new media? He's made this up? Maybe. Has someone called in and it's just a hoax within days of the 4-year mark to see whether their quote-unquote theory can make it into the media? Maybe. Is it truthful? Someone is feeling guilty that they've held this information in for so long, and they've seen that it's almost 4 years, and they've decided to talk. Well, stranger things have happened. That does happen. People call in information that proves to be truthful years after a crime occurred, because the guilt eats away at them. Could that have happened? Yeah, sure. What I do find a little bit weird, though, is the latest post from 5 hours ago. Someone's update. Some have wondered why me notifying the TBI of the tip I received yesterday. Rest assured, I intend to contact TBI tomorrow when they open up. I received the tip over the weekend. I'm not sure that the TBI closes for weekends. Don't they have at least a person dealing with tips and stuff? You know, when they say, if you've got credible information about Summer Wells, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. It doesn't say call 1-800-TBI-FIND weekdays between 9 and 5, does it? I don't know. What do I know? I've never called the TBI. And the TBI themselves, well, they're not updating. The Amber Alert's still active, though. This is all the information that the TBI has.
That's a great
been
point.
Updated
They don't close for
a
tips.
long time.
Just saying.
All right, let's see what comes of this. If it's a hoax, look, there's been many, so don't get your hopes up.
Thanks again, Michelle. I always appreciate her stuff. For those of you that aren't familiar, there's her link in chat, guys. Go check it out. Hit the like button. Give her a subscribe. Give her a like, whatever you want to do. She puts out some interesting stuff for sure. So let's see here. Hold on. I guess Summer Wells' brother. From my understanding, I guess I saw somewhere that he was going up for adoption. I think the older one, Josie, was his name. That they're putting him up for adoption. That's sad. The whole thing is sad to me. So I'll show you something on Summer's case, being that it is coming up on her 4-year anniversary, which is very sad. And it is definitely a cold case at this point. People say it's not, but I feel like it is because we don't see nothing on it hardly at all. Hold on. Josh Melton gave an interview on this. He works with the TBI. He gave an interview on Summer's case last year. Let me find it here. And he basically gave two possibilities as to what happened to Summer in this interview. No, they just showed something about Josie being adopted, SRB. I don't know if they were all together or separate. I don't know. So, we're gonna run this. It's real quick. This interview with Josh Melton, what his thoughts were as to two possibilities in Summer's case, to what's going on. We're gonna follow up with some more stuff on her too, since it's coming up on 4 years now, which is way too long with zero answers. Way too long, and it just kills me, guys. It does. I don't know. I don't know what to think on her case anymore. I was real deep in it for a long time. Molly was as well. Quite a few of us, Mama Bear, very deep in this case, and it just makes no sense. Like, none of these do anymore. It's crazy. So anyway, let's check out this interview with Josh Melton with the TBI and hear what he has to say. This was last year, like I said, 2024. And the two possibilities that he puts out there as to what could have possibly happened with Summer and her situation.
We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two. We think that the only way we'll be successful in finding Summer is to continue to walk down both of those investigative paths to ensure that we don't become focused on one area alone and miss something that's crucially important. I would say this case has not gone cold. A cold case is typically framed up as a case where there are no tips or leads that are coming in and there are no investigative efforts that are happening because there is no place to travel with the investigation. I would say in this case, thanks to the public, we've continued to have tips and leads that have come in that agents have been able to follow up on continuously. And the agents have worked tirelessly when tips and leads weren't coming in to try to find ways to investigate when typically people would lay down their effort. It has been a great partnership between the community and law enforcement to not let this case sit and go sterile. We continue to focus on ground search efforts. We continue to focus on interviews of those who may have information about vehicles that have traveled through the area or technology that could have been used that may give us an investigative lead. All stones are being turned over. There's not one thing that's being done. We've been extremely creative as we've investigated this case and continue to try to find ways to turn over rocks that we didn't even know that were there to turn over. Children are our top priority at TBI. They are the most vulnerable population that we have. They're our most precious things in our world. TBI has always placed an emphasis on missing children, and we've done that through multiple programs that are established here. We look for children when most people aren't. And this case is one that we've just not been able to overcome, and it's troubling. Many people have speculated what they think has happened in this case. The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators speculate and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making a huge mistake. We have to make sure that we're being completely comprehensive as we investigate. And being focused in one direction is a tragedy for an investigation. So until we find evidence that points us in a direction that we know is the right direction, we'll continue to be comprehensive. We'll continue to explore every option that can be out there and we would continue to ask for the public's help in doing so. Typically, we have a couple of agents assigned to an investigation, and that's been enough. We've had over 6,500 leads, tips and leads come in on this case. Those have all been reviewed. They've been worked. We continue to get those. And it is a monstrous task, but it's one that's not overwhelmed us. We have been strategic in the way that we've handled this investigation. We have some of our most talented agents assigned to this case, some of our most talented intelligence analysts from the Bureau assigned to this case. We have brought in subject matter experts within TBI from across the state to assist in this investigation. We have thrown everything that we know to throw at this case, and we haven't had the answers that we need yet. We know we'll get them, but we don't have them today. When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. And it brings me concern and satisfaction, really, the concern that we don't have the answers, the satisfaction of knowing that we have the best agents at TBI that are working on this case in connection with other local law enforcement and federal agencies who are doing their best. And if my daughter was missing, all of the people that are working on this case are the people who I would choose to work on a case if my daughter was missing.
So there's that, which I thought was kind of interesting. It just, like I said, giving you some, I guess, ideas with Summer. Things are loading weird again. Hold on. Sorry. One minute. Now, this is a few months back that this came out, guys. This is Court TV in regards to Summer. And it's just called The Search for Summer Wells. And I thought it was interesting since we're, that, like I said, that 4-year period of time is coming up that we need to refresh, revisit, and talk about Summer again, get it out there, heat it back up. In my opinion, definitely needs to be talked about again. So like I said, I feel like it is cold, and I don't like that. The guy from the Mentors said that he got offered a job, but he got hit by a train. Damn, I got hit by a train. That's crazy. Welcome, King Christopher. So let's check this out. It's probably not going to have anything new. We did get, other than that new tip that we heard via Jason Jensen, but it still has some newer stuff in it than what a lot of people remember from 4 years ago. So let's see what we got. Yeah, guys, thank you, SRB. We should like to chat up with some hearts in support of Summer, because that's when I was really deep into, very much affected. Molly was very, very affected by that one. We have spent so much time with her case, and I would really love to get some kind of an answer to this one. I really would. Thank you, SRB, again.
I'm Vinnie Politan. The subject of my investigation is the disappearance of a 5-year-old little girl from Tennessee. Her name is Summer Wells. And what makes this one so puzzling is that it happened in the middle of the day from her home when there were adults at the house. Here's her story. 5-year-old Summer Wells was growing up in rural northeastern Tennessee, a beautiful part of the country where nature runs free and folks own lots of land, free of crowds, buildings, and neighbors. Summer was living with her parents and siblings and grandma in a home on top of a hill, a place that seems very peaceful, very quiet, and most of all, very safe. But one June day in 2021, her family says she went inside and was never seen or heard from again, seemingly vanishing from this vast property in Hawkins County. There are many questions that have been unanswered in this case, questions that could shed some light on where this little girl is and what happened to her. We will examine those questions and find some answers as the search for this little girl from Tennessee continues. So this goes back to 2021. I mean, super high-profile story and case, still unsolved. I want you to take a look at an image, and they do age progressions. She disappeared when she was 5, so they put together a progression last summer of what she would look like at this new age 3 years later. So you look at those pictures, and it brings to mind, beautiful little girl. But what happened here? Which brings us to really the most important question. And my first question tonight, which is about this little girl from Tennessee. Where could she be? It seems there's a lot of possibilities of what happened here, and the case is far from being solved. I don't even know if there's any hot leads right now in this one. Let me bring in my guests who know a lot about this story, a lot about this investigation. Former homicide detective, host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Chris McDonough is with us. And private investigator Jason Jensen. Thank you to you both. Chris, let me throw that question out to you first. Where could she be? What are the possibilities that we're looking at here?
Yeah, it's a great question, Vinny. And for the last 3 years, thousands of people have been asking that particular question, and the possibilities from obviously a law enforcement perspective is it foul play? Is it an accident? And, because there was an accident, could they have covered up something? There's so many theories that could be applied to this, but that is the $1 million question at this point, because you and I both know that 5-year-olds, they just don't vanish from their house.
No, there's some intervening action, force, something. I want to take a look, Jason, at a timeline here so we can kind of go through this for the folks watching. June 15th, 2021, Summer Wells is reported missing around 6:30 p.m. Last seen somewhere around her home, outside her home. June 17th, the search expands to cover a 1-mile radius surrounding the home. June 26th, TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, looks for a red Toyota pickup seen in an area where Summer disappeared. Could have seen or heard something. June 26, 2021, Summer's brothers are removed from the home by the Department of Children's Services. October 31st, 2021, Don Wells, her father, is arrested for driving under the influence. February 4th, 2022, Summer's 6th birthday. February 4th, 2023, Summer's 7th birthday. June 14th, 2023, TBI released the age progressed photos that we're showing you. Then February 4th, 2024, Summer's 8th birthday. Then June 14th, 2024, TBI released a video update on the case. I want to take a look at that right now. Let's take a look.
When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. My name is Josh Melton. I'm the Assistant Director of the Criminal Investigation Division for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two.
All right, Jason Jensen, you've investigated so many cases like this. Where are you starting? What strikes you about the attempt to get to the truth here and get to the answer of where she could be?
Yeah, Vinny, the most important thing is to keep an open mind. Like the director just said, is they don't know which theory. There's really basically only three things that can happen in a disappearance involving a small child like that: either a wander off, or an abduction, or a death and concealment. They've ruled out the death and concealment pretty much by doing the polygraphs with the parents, and they both passed. So we're really focusing on whether this child wandered off, got lost, and something happened to the child. That's why they did the mile radius search and then find her. So, you know, there's a real possibility of the abduction, and you got to keep your mind open, because we do know that this situation does occur. Like, I have a case, the 1982 case of Rachel Runyon. She was abducted 15 feet from behind her home. So it can happen.
Let me ask you, Chris, the red Toyota pickup, what do we know about that vehicle? Why is that something that law enforcement talked about?
Well, first of all, the red Toyota pickup was introduced by the father of the victim. It wasn't an independent witness or anything like that.
So let's first talk about this. Sorry, I can't help myself. I have to do it.
The dad says, you know, there could have been a vehicle down at the end of the driveway, et cetera. And so we have to take into consideration, you know, what's the geographic region telling you as an investigator? And in this particular situation, the victim was last seen in the basement of the house. And so in order for a stranger abduction to have occurred, then that suspect had to know on that particular day at that.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with Jason Jensen, though, truly, because I can't stand Chris McDonough. He's done some really ignorant things in cases and shouldn't even have a license. So, yeah, I'll probably make fun of him the rest of my life. It drives me nuts. Absolutely drives me nuts. The things he's done and that he's allowed to do this stuff. So I'm just saying.
That moment, that child would be in that basement. The victim risk continuum tells us that is a high improbability. And so you then go back to the situation where you go, okay, who was the last one there and what are the circumstances around that? And I think that's where the authorities have been focusing.
You know, Jason, when we cover stories like this that happen in more populated areas, you know, whether it's a neighborhood like Sebastian Rogers in another part of Tennessee, or in a city like Nashville, or you know, any other city across the country. This is a very rural area. There, you know, it's not like you're in a neighborhood. There's not a lot of folks nearby. If someone comes by, I think you might notice it. It reminds me a little bit of the situation with Suzanne and Barry Morphew. Suzanne Morphew went missing from her home. They were kind of isolated as well. How important is that part of the investigation, the geography and the you know, where all this allegedly took place?
Well, yeah, terrain, especially in rural areas, plays a major part. Like basically Chris was alluding to, if it's not a high active area, you know, high access, you're not really going to have a lot of access by strangers. So the problem that we have here is, how did she get away from the house without being detected? Because in rural areas, everybody knows if there's a car nearby, you know, you're driving down the street, you see a truck pulled over to the side. In those kind of communities, they want to pull over and offer assistance. So access to the home, access to the child is really going to play a big part here. And that's why early on there was a lot of threats and harassment received by the.
My biggest issue with this, because I was really into this one, guys. If somebody walked up on that hill, went in there and took her, those dogs didn't make one sound. There's 7 dogs, folks. I've watched many other people show up at that house, and their dogs go insane barking. Okay? They go nuts. Even somebody that they know, they go nuts. So, if the only thing I can see possibly happening with that scenario was if she walked out through the basement door and she walked down the hill and there was somebody there and they grabbed her. That's the only way that makes any sense to me. Okay. That's true. And I just don't feel like that's feasible. Well, no, it is feasible. I just don't feel like that's what happened. Okay. Anybody walking up that hill and walking in there and grabbing her makes no sense, because Candace and her mother were right, literally like 50 feet from that area. Okay. Yeah, right. The dog, Grandis, they know Grandis. She was sitting there right there giving interviews. And there's people there with other people. Like, and even seeing Dawn going out of there, they would bark. So no. I don't believe that. I don't believe anybody walked up on that hill and walked in and grabbed her. I never will. Yeah, it very well could have been to SRB that somebody was drawing her out, luring her. That knew her. Makes sense, okay? Or something else happened. And I'm not 100% on that because, again, there hasn't been any arrests on this. None. Which is very strange to me. I don't know. Well, they were asked in one of the interviews, Alicia, if the dogs had barked. Even I think law enforcement asked if they had heard the dogs barking at any time. They said no. Maybe they did. Maybe they drowned them out. I don't know. But if anything, I think that Summer would have come out that door, and unless there was somebody there already hiding that the dogs had already barked at some point, and they were used to maybe by that point, or if somebody gave something to the dogs to quiet them down. I don't know. Just making thoughts here. But I don't think she took off down that hill. I struggle with thinking that she took off down that hill on her own volition. That's just me, but it could have happened. Dawn said the dogs, hold on. Hold on 1 second. So sorry, guys. Once again, too many distractions today. I don't remember that. I never saw that, Stitches, but thank you for the input. I'll have to look into that. Where would the dogs have gone for that day, though? That's weird. And if somebody did take the dogs out of there, they were always there every other time. That's strange. Sounds like it was done on purpose to me. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she definitely, that was something we caught in the very beginning, too. Okay, on we go.
The wells, because everybody thought it was a low probability that, it was an abduction.
Okay, guests are staying with us. Coming up next, what does the family property actually look like?
I'm looking at this terrain and I'm going, holy cow, she could have even
There's a million possibilities here.
Yeah, there's
down there, and there's the road down there.
Did you know that in middle-income communities,
Where would a suspect have been, in your opinion, in this?
My opinion?
Yeah, in this area.
They could have been sitting anywhere. They could have been sitting over here, just off the little edge right here, or where the bus is, that little bushy area right there. They could have been sitting
Right
there.
out here.
Yeah. And
Okay, come show me.
What's up?
That's all right.
And I just recently found out that there was like, I guess he's a child molester.
Okay.
That lived like literally 8 minutes from my house, and he can literally walk from his house into my house within 8 minutes.
Okay.
And like that bushy area right there, you can't really tell if anybody's crouched down there or anything.
That's Chris McDonough at the home with Summer Wells' mother, walking the property, trying to figure out what's going on there, because this is a case where a child is alleged to have disappeared in the middle of the day from that property. Which brings me to my next question, another important one in this investigation, which is, what does the family property look like? Still with me, Chris McDonough, who was touring the property along with Jason Jensen. So guys, what I want to do, Chris, I want to show everyone the tour that you did. I think it gives us incredible insight here. Let's take a look.
What's going back?
Hey.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we looked into, two Stitches, and it kind of bugged us too. I agree with that. We questioned everything, and I mean everything.
You know, I have much more respect for what you're telling me by standing here, and I got my little camera here, so when I'm looking at this terrain, and I'm going, holy cow, she could have even. There's a million possibilities here.
Yeah, there's
down there, and there's the road down there.
Yeah, that's the road. And that's my mom's house.
Okay.
Like literally, it's.
And this right here.
Usually you can see the road because they have went through here and mowed and took down a bunch of stuff away from the power lines.
Okay.
But usually it's full up. You can't even see the road.
That day, though, how was it? Was it full up, or was it like this?
That day and a few days prior to that, they were working on this.
Okay.
So I've even come to a conclusion maybe one of them people have snatched it.
Oh, interesting.
Because they were all the way up here on
Yeah,
the
I see those, the path down there. I see the tracks down there.
Yep.
Over there.
And they were all the way up here to my light pole.
Okay. And you told TBI all this, right?
I told TBI this, yes.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, I can see the cars going by.
You know, Tomboy, I've always wondered that. Truly always wondered that. Because we only know what we were told, what they told. And I've always wondered that, I'll be honest with you. Just saying.
That is not far from your property.
Mm-mm.
Is there a holler down there? I mean, is there a river of some sort?
The creek runs all the way around the property.
And how deep is a creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch, inch or two. Okay.
You'd be lucky to get wet enough to do anything.
Okay. So walk me through. You get home. You take the groceries inside. Is Don home, by the way?
No, he's
not. Okay.
Actually, I parked the truck. And I opened both doors. It's really hard.
There's a lot of people involved in this case, too, you guys, just as much as there are with the Idaho case. That are very questionable. I'll be honest with you. I've never stopped looking at Jody Sue Brown and her son. And I have weird feelings about that situation. So there's that. There's Fred, and many other people that are involved in this that you got to look at them. You can't not. So I think Jody Sue, as far as neighbors go, Jody Sue is probably the one I've looked at the most, the one that I've thought about the most, and the one that has made me feel the most uncomfortable. My only problem with that is, don't you think by now the boys would have opened their mouths? Do they really truly remember or know, though, SRB? If they were in that house playing video games, they don't know. They were little, and she could have told them, yeah, your sister, she's here. She was here. You didn't see her? No, I didn't see her. Well, she was here. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? They were little. And if they never saw her, they could just, it could have just been that the mother played it, Candace played it off as if she was outside and then sent her inside, and they were dead focused into that video game based on what Candace said. Yeah, that's it. Were they even paying any attention, Tandy? Like Tandy said, that's a point that I'm trying to make. And if they did know anything, the way Dawn was, there could have been fear instilled in them. Who knows if they knew anything? No. I don't mean that they're like babies or anything, but they, like I said, they were younger. I can't remember their exact ages, but they were like really deep in that video game. And they said she went downstairs. That's all. That's it. But did they really see her? Or did they just guess she went downstairs? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that they were paying attention at all. These are just guesses, you guys, because we don't have that information. So if that's the case, then yeah, she made it home. But what happened, though? Did something else happen down there? Did she fall down the stairs and hurt herself and something else happened? I don't know, you guys. I don't know what to think on this one. Thank you, Christy. I don't know what to think on that one. Maybe something happened. I always thought that there was a possibility of her dry drowning after she left there, came home, and something happened later that afternoon. And something could have been covered up, possibly. I don't know, because Grandis always acted really strange about the whole situation. You're good, Christy. No worries. Think about this. The boys playing games, and your little sister comes in and wants to play. Typical boys would say, no, get lost. We are playing, so she left the basement and walked off. Very possible. Very possible. And the thought was possible that she walked off down the driveway. That hill, I don't know. Maybe she could have went down the hill. It just seemed really hard for her to be able to walk down that hill. But maybe she did, and she walked out to the road and was down there messing around. Somebody saw her and grabbed her. And that was me too, Stitches. That was one of my thoughts. I put that theory out there. Okay, I put the theory out there that they came back from the swimming hole. And remember when I believe in projection. Okay. I think Candace had been smoking something. It was talked about earlier on. And they were out all day driving around, doing whatever, came back, and we saw Summer fall asleep in the back of the truck, remember? This is Tennessee, mind you, and it was hot. It was summertime. And if they had the windows up and all that shit, she fell asleep in the vehicle. She was dressed in full clothes. She had on a zip-up jacket, pants, and everything, guys, because she was cold at the hole. What if she fell asleep and Candace just left her in the truck to sleep, thinking she'd wake herself up and get out? Candace went in the house and maybe she took a nap, okay? And the Grandis took a nap. The boys are playing video games. Nobody's paying no attention. Candace comes outside. She wakes up, whatever, at some point, comes out, maybe to get up to make dinner later on, expecting Dawn to be coming home at some point, goes out. It was like, where the hell's, where's Summer at? Goes out to the truck, and she's gone. Okay? And then Jody Sue and her kids stated they heard a scream at some point. Okay? Maybe that was Candace realizing Summer's gone. And that's what the scream was Candace coming on to Summer, realizing what happened. Okay, and then she gets in the truck and she takes off. She calls Dawn because you had to call Dawn for everything before she did anything. And I've always wondered, you know, if you put the parents in the middle of this, that Dawn said, well, I'm leaving now. Meet me halfway between here and Johannesburg or whatever it was, Jonestown or Jonetown or whatever the hell it was. Sorry. And then something happened from that point. I don't know. This is a theory, and I don't like saying that because there's no proof of stuff like this, but I always wondered that because the heat was hot. She was fully clothed, and we've seen things happen to kids left in vehicles like this, okay? And she was back there for a while. And if she fell asleep, they didn't wake her up, and they fell asleep or just stopped paying attention, you just don't know. So that's just a slight theory that I had. Just saying.
This Walmart is, but I opened the doors up and I shook her. I said, "Wake up, we're at home." She jumped right up.
Okay.
Like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said,
and see how she tells that story? Listen to this real quick one more time. Listen to how she tells the story and what she describes.
We were on the property.
And how deep is a creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch, inch or two. Okay.
You'd be lucky to get wet enough to do anything.
Okay. So walk me through. You get home. You take the groceries inside. Is Don home, by the way?
No, he's
not. Okay.
Actually, I parked the truck and I opened both doors. It's really hard because this Walmart is. But I opened the doors up and I shook her. I said, "Wake up, we're at home." She jumped right up.
Okay.
Like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said, "Come on." I said, "Mom, I'll be right back." So went in there and got the boys and they were sitting at the table. And I said, "Come on, let's get the groceries out." And we brought them all in the house, went through them all, did all that.
And this is that's her swing.
That's her swing right there.
Come show me her swing. Why is this?
So did you hear how she described? She went into like a little too many details. She jumped right up. She had to say that. And then I unbuckled her. She could unbuckle herself. She wasn't a baby. And there you go. She wasn't buckled in, Tomboy just said. If I remember right, I'll have to go back and look because I focused on that picture for a while. Because I was looking at her fingernails trying to tell if it was dirt or if it was lack of oxygen that they were turning blue. And I always thought they were turning blue. And that's when I was thinking about the dry drowning thing possibly. So we'll go back and look at the picture for sure. And just saying, what's up, Horse TV? Good to see you. But yeah, she over detailed that bit of conversation there, in my opinion, to an extent. And I wondered, is that why you said that she jumped right up? Because are you projecting the opposite of what actually happened? Yeah, the story's changed around a few times, Becky. Probably 2 or 3 times the story's changed between the people you talk to. So we'll just say that. Welcome, Rock Metal. Good to see you. All right, on we go.
And who's this?
That is Smoking Boots. That's my boy's cat.
And how many dogs do you have here on the property? About?
Honestly, I don't know because people just keep dropping them off.
Hi. I know. Okay. Sorry. So this is her swing.
That's her swing.
This is her playground.
Yep.
And she loved this area.
I think it has a couple times, Alicia. Like I said, it's been so long, I'll have to go back and look and remember. But I think it has, because I think we pointed that out back then.
Boy, you know, I'm looking at this, and this terrain, Candace, just strikes me as being so dense and just... Is that they say the dog trail? Where's this dog trail thing?
I'm not sure, honestly.
There's so many of them.
The dogs go in every different.
Yeah, I saw the dogs came out of the woods as we were pulling up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do that all the time.
Okay.
That trail right there, my boys, they ride those dirt bikes that are leaning against the truck over there.
Okay.
You can see there's one of them.
Okay.
And
those are like 50 cc's, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one ain't. I think it's only like 25, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, they go down that trail with their dirt bikes and then come back up on the road, up on the driveway and go around and stuff.
A lot of That video, extremely interesting. So, Chris, what did you take away from touring that property where Summer Wells allegedly disappeared from?
Yep. So, you know, wanting to keep an open mind, right, Vinny, when I'm talking to Mom, about trying to understand what the suspect may have seen if this was, you know, let's stay with the lane of an abduction of some sort. And the terrain is so thick and dense. And by the way, this is only about 3 weeks after the initial report of her disappearance. So this is pretty much what it looked like the day she would have disappeared. And so I thought to myself, okay, is it possible that somebody could have hid in those woods, could have come up behind, you know, the back area there behind the camper? Because you can see the road from the top of the property. But then again, you've got to think, okay, does the suspect expose themselves down on that road? Because you could even hear cars going by while I was there. And so Mom then explains that the only way she thought her daughter may have gone out of that house was through a basement door, which was on the left side of that house, looking at it in this shot. It would have been to the left of that. And that was down by the bus and right in that area, right there in that shot. That would have been what they call the dog trail. And so, you know, the fact that somebody would have had to navigate all of these obstacles, et cetera, and that's the door, and get into that door to where Summer was, it really does raise a lot of questions about the abduction theory.
All right, Jason Jensen, the one thing that struck me as Chris is walking around the neighborhood, and Chris is a nice guy, he's not going to harm anyone, the dogs. They don't even know how many dogs. The dogs are alerting to Chris, who is obviously in a friendly mode there. What are your thoughts about the dogs on that property and the prospects of a little girl wandering away without the dogs alerting, or someone taking her without the dogs alerting?
You know, Vinny, we were on the same mindset. When I was watching the video, you know, from Chris, the thing that struck me the most was how many dogs were there. So obviously anytime a stranger would approach the home, I'm sure the dogs would bark at him, or at least gather down, you know, down. Even friendly dogs will go down and greet somebody with tails wagging and everything. But certainly the first moment they're shocked by a stranger coming through the woods, they'd be barking and alerting the owners, I'm sure, is what the typical patterns are. I own dogs, and that's what my dogs do anytime someone approaches the front of the house. So I would think that in order for there to be any kind of viable abduction scenario, she'd have to wander off, you know, like little girls do, chasing a butterfly or something, find herself far enough away from the home that she encounters somebody that shouldn't be there. That's about the only thing I can think of.
And Chris, with that scenario, going back to the property here, like, I could see that happening in a much more densely populated place. You're at a park, you're at a mall, a child wanders off and can get scooped up, right? But here, it seems like there's a little more isolation. So someone would have to be lying in wait and just hoping that the child wanders away.
Yeah, absolutely, Vinny. And what you and Jason are talking about, you know, just going back to the dogs for a second, when I pulled up, there were, I counted them, there were about 16 dogs that came out of the woods.
16 when you pulled up?
No, Scully, it was June in Tennessee, so it definitely wasn't snowing. Where the dogs bed, I have no idea. Were they facing clockwise or counterclockwise? So look at. Okay, no idea, my friend. No idea.
When I pulled up, there were 16, and I asked her, where are all these dogs coming from? And you know, Mom said that folks in the area just drop the dogs off in the neighborhood, and they all come up to that property.
Okay, to me that speaks volumes. That is incredibly insightful in all of this. All right, Jason. So as you look at the property, there are other possibilities here. You know, without pointing a finger at anyone, but if something happened to her and someone wanted to dispose of those remains in that terrain, do you think it would survive the level of searching that was done?
I would think initially, yeah, because the scent of cadavers isn't so strong with a fresh death. But as time goes on, certainly cadaver dogs could pick up the scent. So, but initially you're looking for displaced soil where you could see that there was, some shoveling or something and replacement of soil or disturbance of vegetation if there was some kind of clandestine burial. Other than that, I would feel that TBI did a sufficient job with their search as they've certainly moved on to other areas, including doing polygraphs. So it really kind of narrows it down. If it's not the parents doing some kind of concealment or some other hostile force, it's somebody from outside the home. And then the question really gets vague, who could that be?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your help. Wow. Children don't just disappear. School. But Summer disappeared in the middle of the day from her own house. Here's her story. Summer Wells was home playing in the garden and running around outside in the middle of the day when she went inside her Tennessee home to play with her siblings. That was June 15th, 2021. And to this day, no one has seen or heard from Summer since. Her parents have spoken publicly many times, recounting what happened that day, urging the public for help, all while some looked at the family with suspicion. There have been massive searches for Summer and years of publicity surrounding this case, but none of it has led to an answer. None of it has led to Summer. Where is this little girl from Hawkins County, and what happened to her? So when you're searching for a missing person, especially a missing child, there's one question that really starts everything, which begins the investigation, and that's my next question, which is, where was she last seen? Absolutely significant in all of this. Let me bring in my guests who are going to help us. Former homicide detective and host of The Interview Room, Chris McDonough, has done a lot of investigating of this case, and forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, author and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. What I want to do, Chris and Dr. Carol, is take a look at what Chris did, going inside the home and showing us the last place where Summer Wells allegedly was. Let's take a look at that.
Them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued to the TV. Like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play. So I went over here like this, because this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her bedroom.
Our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled, I said, Summer, Summer. And she didn't, I listened for a minute, I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this, because this is how I always get down here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you want to come down here or not.
Do I got to be tiny to get in there?
No, you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it'd make more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, man. Good grief,
No,
girl.
if my 6-foot husband can fit down here, you can.
Huh?
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he can fit, you can.
This... Oh, my gosh. Way to go.
This is my husband's room.
Okay.
And over here, well, it's a mess again.
That's all right.
But this is where Summer and little Waylon was, because Waylon's only 9.
Okay.
And they stayed down here. And these are all her toys, all her Paw Patrols,
All her movies. She's got a movie about the Savior.
The boys I brought back down here after she went missing because I didn't want them upstairs by themselves anymore.
Okay. And this is all her toys.
These are all her toys. All these toys that are down here are dang near all her, except for like the trucks and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the game system. That's the boys'.
Okay.
But them are all her toys.
And she's really...
So they fixed all this at some point. They came in and put real beds in and painted and hung things and made it look all nice and neat. But beforehand, this is where she lived, and it was disgusting to me. That she had a mattress thrown on the floor in the middle of a basement, and the boys were on the other side. I didn't like this at all. And that's why the boys were taken. One of the reasons why the boys were taken, that was on the list at least. So Dawn went in and fixed it and made a real entrance to the basement and all sorts of things, which kills me. You could have done all that before, but he just chose not to. They went in and fixed all this. I saw afterwards and made it a nice looking place inside. I don't know. I think they may have moved Raquel. I have to look into that too. I heard they did. Anyway, in hopes of getting the boys back and thinking that they would get Summer back, per se, is what was said. But it ain't got nothing to do with poor people. It's being lazy, okay? Because they weren't poor. That's the thing. They chose to be this way. They had money. Dawn had lots of money. That was looked into too. He made real good money. They had money. They just chose to live like that. They chose to not do certain things, and then they had their kids taken, and then they had no choice. That's why they ended up changing it after the fact. I think they moved too. Now here's the other side of it: is even though that Summer has that bed down there, they themselves claim that she slept in the other room in the bed with them, which I wasn't comfortable with either. Just there's reasons, and I'm not going to go into that right now. But so. You know, based on things they've said, those are the reasons that made me uncomfortable with it. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, that's not a place to put a child. Like, not like that, at least. You could take a basement and turn it into a bedroom because it has multiple exits and entrances, okay? That's fine. But it needs to be habitable. Like, you can paint it. You can give her a real bed with a bed frame, not on the floor. Just, you know, a dresser, which they did, like I said, after the fact. But at this point, it wasn't done. And they were just being lazy, in my opinion. So, it doesn't, I get it, Scully, that doesn't look like money, but sometimes people just choose to live a certain type of way. That's their choice. But he had money. He definitely had money. They were buying cars and things and all sorts of stuff. So, it wasn't an issue. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to keep going. Sorry.
Into Paw Patrol, I see.
Yeah,
that.
I've been collecting from day one. And these are all her little ponies that I've bought. And then these are them girls that she likes. Them new fashion, I don't know what they are, little princesses or whatever. She's like all kinds. Here's one of them bracelets.
Oh, that's just one of them. What do they call these? Oh, this is a little pony bracelets.
Yeah, I don't know what they were really called, but she liked them, and so I just, every time I go to the garage sale, I'd buy her what she wanted.
Okay.
You know, whenever I got a little bit of money, I spend it on the kids.
Yeah, this is her, I understand her now.
Yeah.
Even better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is really important.
Yeah, I come down and I searched. I looked up underneath the beds under there. We can't really get on. I can't get under there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I looked under there, looked under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here and I looked on both sides and see her work. And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's hard on. But I know I did come out here and I said, Summer. Because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, you know. And usually when she comes out and she goes directly that way up to the swing.
Oh, okay. So this is like her.
Yeah, she just
where she
walks.
come running out.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you can see the path here.
Right to the swing.
Right, you can see where she could have run right up to
and
here.
this is all the further she would go. She wouldn't leave.
Okay.
She wouldn't go nowhere else.
Okay, Chris, the house itself, and to get down to her room, is that like a little tunnel or something?
Yeah, Vinny, I mean, to be honest with you, I was blown away when I first, when she says, down into the basement, and I couldn't see what she was talking about. So she took me around that little bar thing there, and
Yeah, she could have definitely went out the basement. Somebody could have been in the basement when she went down there. But again, I'm weirded out about that because of the dogs. That's all. And if she did walk out the basement door, I don't know. I just feel like that's the only thing that could have happened is she could have went out that door, down the hill, and somebody was down there and grabbed her. See, I can't, I understand. I can see that, but it bothers me, like I said, about the dogs. And it could be. It very well could be. Or, like I said, there's 3 to 4 different things that could have happened to this little girl. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. It truly, it's been so long.
There was this hole cut out, and that stairwell was about probably 20 inches wide. And then when you got down into that stairwell, you can see.
You're right, but we also don't know that they weren't. That's the problem. There's 16 plus dogs in that property. I can't believe they all would wander off at one time. You know what I mean? I don't know. I struggle with that because every video I've seen where somebody goes to the house, the dogs are always there. Benny Keys went there, Molly Golightly, Big Mouth, Betty, Chris, a few other people. Every time they went there, those dogs were there. People brought dog food and shit all the time. It's weird, but so that's why I always worried that somebody would have been alerted to. If, you know what I mean? Thinking they're at least a few of them were always there. Plus, there were puppies underneath the house, I believe, too, or kittens, one of the two. Yeah, a lot of barking. I couldn't even deal with that. I don't understand how they even live that way. I couldn't handle that. That's so much barking. They probably ignored the dogs at some point, okay? But I don't know. I don't even know what to think. It drives me nuts. Hey, Virginia, good to see you. Wait, did Virginia Wolf say something? Or did I miss something? You could say that, I guess. But I know, unless they just lied about it or don't remember it, when they were asked about the dogs by TBI, Latah County, or not Latah, Jesus God, you guys. Too many cases. The county that was here, I can't think of who they are. And the FBI, Grandis and Candace both said that the dogs were quiet. So I don't know. They could have just maybe not heard it, don't remember it, or they lied about it. One of the 3, I guess.
See how dark it was in that basement. There were 2 light sources immediately, one from the door, and then the second was from a small window that was covered, but it was getting through some light. And then there was a single light bulb in there. And it was, in my opinion, I told her I had a better understanding of Summer because I had a really difficult time trying to figure out why a 5-year-old just arbitrarily would take off down into that basement, to play with her toys while her brothers are upstairs. And that's who she wanted to go into the house to see.
Right. The story was, I want to go be with my sister.
She didn't have any toys downstairs. That's the problem. There was nothing down there for her to do other than to go to bed. I mean, there was nothing down there. I think there was a couple little things down there, but she'd rather be outside. So why didn't she go outside to her swing, if that's the case, instead of down in the basement? That's weird to me. Or did she go out that basement door when she went inside the house and go out to the swing, and maybe somebody was hiding in some bushes somewhere, or she wandered off down the driveway? If Candace was at that trailer, maybe went inside the trailer to help wrap her mom's leg or something, didn't see or hear anything, so that could have been what it was too. And Candace Summer wandered down the driveway. Again, that hill, if you look at that hill when they did, it looks very hard to scale, like she'd have fallen or something. But she could have. If she lived there, she could be used to it, and she could have scaled that hill. Barefoot, I don't know. I don't know, but it could be.
Siblings, but they're upstairs. Dr. Carol Lieberman, the other thing that strikes me here, not being judgmental, it's just there's a lot of clutter in this house. It's a little, does that tell you anything about what's going on in this house? Like the physical state?
I guess the other thing with that too is somebody having the balls to just, unless it's somebody that's known to the family, then yeah, that's different. Having the balls to just walk up on somebody's house and inside, or even to the right to the outside, and walk away with somebody, knowing that there's people around, that's pretty ballsy. But I mean, I guess people would do it.
Of the I don't want to say cleanliness, the order in the house.
Yes, of course. And you know, I watched a number of Chris's videos, and a lot of times he says to her, you know, I don't mean to be judgmental, or I don't want to be judgmental.
Forewarning, watch whatever Dr. Lieberman says, take it with a grain of salt, because I think she's nuts too. She says weird things about people eating each other and strange stuff like that, so just be easy with what she says.
And he isn't, and I think people seem to be looking everywhere, but you know, not wanting to confront, you know, on a deeper level, the parents. First of all, like letting the dogs, you were saying that says a lot, you know, the fact that they have all these dogs roaming around, and that they let people drop them off. You know, people just come and they drop their dogs off. There is a carelessness. There's alcohol abuse. There's drug abuse. There's a carelessness.
I think it would have to be SRB. Truly, it would have to be somebody that's familiar with that area, because it's kind of dangerous there. You think you can't just walk up in that area and just know what you're knowing, know where to go, know where to look, know that she's there possibly, you know. And I don't know, would she go with just anybody? I don't know. We don't really have the dynamic of how that went down. We heard what they said in their interviews, but would she just go with somebody? That's weird to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. She could. Because she didn't get a lot of attention from what my understanding was, and that would make sense that she would definitely just, hey, if somebody offers her something that sounds like more fun than what she's living right there at that time, sure, could be.
Of taking care of the kids. I mean, the kids, her brothers are now taken by Child Protective Services. So what does that tell you? And there was supposed to have been abuse. They took them because of being abused, and so many other things. You know, for example, the fact that she was sleeping down there with her. She was 5 and her brother was 9. Now I know when houses are cramped and so on, you kind of have to sleep together, but. And then there's the fact of the shed, that the father apparently went to look in the shed when he heard that his daughter was missing. Why would he think what was going on in that shed that he would think that his daughter would go there? The mother lied about the drink. She said, I think that, or at least she said a different story than one of the children said. She said that it was like a soft drink, and he said that it was a twisted tea. You know, and then she said about the, and then if there was porn playing in the parents' bedroom. I mean, it's a house of horrors. So anything could have happened to the poor little girl.
So, Chris, being inside that house, what's your takeaway from the place where she is supposedly last seen?
Well, Dr. Lieberman nailed it. I mean, this was an obvious situation of there's a lot more here that we don't know yet. But my takeaway was and the most striking piece of it was the bedroom next to the child's room. And then the conversations between, you know, the parents made on the news about Summer would sleep with them. Immediately with the information that was on the TV, my red flag started to go up from an investigative aspect that, you know what, there may be other things happening here. We don't know that for sure. But certainly this child did not walk out that door, nor did I believe at that moment that a stranger came in and took her out that door. There was definitely some foul play in motion here.
And Dr. Carol Lieberman, how about getting information from the young siblings? How difficult is it to extract information from them?
Well, of course they're going to have loyalties to some degree to their parents, not want to tell on their parents. But I think that's probably the best chance. Like if they each develop a good relationship with a therapist, a trusting relationship, and it's a good therapist, I think a good therapist could eventually get some information from them, gradually, that could give some clues.
Big thank you. Chris McDonough, The Interview Room, incredible investigation of this case and so many cases. Everyone needs to check that out. And Dr. Carol Lieberman, your insight, expertise is so valuable to us. Thank you so much. Still to come, is Summer's mom telling the truth?
You went back in?
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff.
Okay.
Around the house like we normally do.
One of the most successful true crime TV shows ever.
This is crazy.
Now has a new home on America's...
Has been interesting is that the parents have been very open to speaking. They've spoken to television stations. They've spoken to YouTube investigators like Chris McDonough, like you just saw there. They've spoken publicly about this case and have told their story. Take a listen now to Summer's mother telling the story of what happened when Summer disappeared.
To walk me through, you get home, you take the groceries inside. Is Don home, by the way?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Actually, I parked the truck and I opened both doors. It's really hard because this lawnmower is. But I opened the doors up and I shook Summer. I said, "Wake up, we're at home." She jumped right up.
Okay.
Like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said, "Come on." I said, "Mom, I'll be right back." Well, went in there and got the boys and they were sitting at the table. And I said, "Come on, let's get the groceries out." And we brought them all in the house, went through them all. And
See, the original story that Candace gave, I think it was TBI, or like maybe it was TBI or the other, that the boys went to work with Dawn that day. Okay, that was the original story. And then it changed not too long after that the boys were here at the house when she was telling this story. And that they came out and helped her unload whatever. Which then that changed to the boys just ignored her when she yelled for them and she just let them play their games and she unloaded everything. Her and Grandis, which then that changed that Grandis went to her trailer to lay down. It's changed a few times, the story she's told. So it's hard to decipher exactly what is what and what's true and what actually happened that day. So with this part of it at least.
So what happens when she comes in? The boys are playing where?
No, the boys are actually sitting here.
Okay.
And they're actually sitting right here at the table watching TV.
Okay, so they're at the table watching TV. Okay.
They were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out. Kind of
Okay.
thing.
Watching TV. Where's Summer?
Summer, she was with me.
Okay, so walk me through that.
All right, well, we walked up in here and we got Josie, Wyatt, and Waylon, the boys.
Right.
Well,
You put the groceries down, right?
Yeah, well, we went back out and then we brought the groceries in and put them down. And then Mom, she went took her stuff to her house, put her stuff away.
Okay.
And then, of course, me and Summer went back over, put our stuff away.
Okay. You went back in?
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff.
Okay.
Around the house like we normally do. And I come out, Mom was sitting there at the time. I come out and I'm standing here. I was like, "What are you doing? What are you staring at?" She's like, "These plants, I gotta get them transplanted." I was like, "Well, Summer will help us." So I went back in. By that time, she was sitting on the floor playing with her toys.
Right here?
No, in the kitchen where we were just at.
Okay.
She was actually sitting on the floor playing with the toys at that time. I said, "Summer, you want to help plant flowers?" And she jumped up, left her toys, and of course, that's cool.
Yeah,
Then we
well,
walked
that's
over
what
here.
kids do. It's their job.
What?
Okay.
We walked over here and we transplanted these cactuses from the little pots that they were in. We transplanted these ones here into this bigger pot and that one into that bigger pot. And she took the rocks that we've gotten from different gem mines when we went up to Gatlinburg and stuff.
Okay.
And she's the one that spreaded all the rocks around in here. And then she put her puppies in here. She wanted Chase in there, you know.
Okay.
That was cool.
Where are those puppies now?
What do you mean?
Oh, the little puppies, her real ones.
Yeah, these little.
Oh, yeah, those little guys. Oh, that's Paw Patrol.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the police one.
Yep, that's Chase. He's always on the case.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I see another one over here.
She put him in there. Yep, you're on the cactus.
Okay. Don't take those out, okay?
No, I leave them right there.
I know.
And then we went in my mom's where we can't get in there.
Yeah, that's fine. We went in there.
We went in there and got some candy and stuff she gets from grandma.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'm going to go back over to the house. She wanted to go back, so I figured I'd go back, you know.
Okay.
And I brought her, I literally walked over to here. Like, literally walked right to here where I could see the boys and on the kitchen table.
Got him.
And I watched her walk in there. And afterwards, when she was already in there, I walked over to quiet. And he looked at me and I said, watch Sissy, I'll be right back. And that's when I walked back over to my mom's.
Okay.
And I was fixing her brace and stuff like that. And I said, well, Mom, I got to go back over with the kids. And that's when I come back up into the house.
Okay.
With the boys.
Okay.
Not that way.
You walked into the house.
I walked into here. Get up. Get up. I walked in here and them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued to the TV, like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play.
Okay, so there's the story. Here's the story, which brings me to my next question. And it's about the story told by Summer's mom. Is Summer's mom telling the truth here? Is there anything she's saying or doing with her body language that indicates deception? Let me bring in my next guest who's going to help us through all of this. Body language expert and New York Times best-selling author of the book, You Can't Lie to Me. Janine Driver is with us. Janine, great to see you.
Nice to see you, honey.
She's very open. I mean, Chris is not the only person she spoke to, but she gave an in-depth walking around telling exactly what her story is. What did you see? What did you hear from her?
Listen, it's not a slam dunk that, sometimes I watch someone and I immediately say, oh, this person's lying. That's not happening here. And with that being said, there are some hot spots that if I had an opportunity to ask her, I would ask some additional questions. And what are some of the hot spots? She says, actually, I opened the truck when talking about coming home. The word actually, and we've weighed in on this before, Vinny, and you at home, actually is comparing two things. Did you buy the blue truck or the red car? Actually, I bought the blue truck. We know what you're comparing. When someone says, actually, I opened the truck, as opposed to what? So this, to me, would be the question, as opposed to what? Anytime you see that or hear that word in a text or email or in a conversation, ask as opposed to what? She says it again. I was actually watching TV. She says the boys were in the other room and I was actually here watching TV with her daughter. Then she does go outside and she scratches her head, which is a pacifier. The higher the hold, the more anxiety is told. The closer we get to the brain, the more stress and anxiety. It makes sense. Her daughter's missing. So she scratches her head. Then she does an elbows out like this. We saw Chris Watts do this, Vinny. You may remember when the police officer went into the neighbor's house. He had a camera on his uniform, and Chris Watts is watching footage of the neighbor watching him load something into the truck, which we later find out is Shanann and his two young daughters, Celeste and Bella, were supposedly still alive at that point. When we see Chris Watts see that footage, he goes like this. Elbows out, shock is about. So we see this in law enforcement all the time, or if you are a first responder, you'll often see this. The World Trade Center crumbled down. You see people do these elbows out. Basketball players, Caitlin Clark, love her. Caitlin Clark, right? If she misses a ball, doesn't happen often, but you might see elbows out right here when a play doesn't go the way we want it to go. So this is shock is about, there's a problem here. She does use past tense. Past tense is indicative of someone telling the truth. She jumped up. I'm not hearing tense changes, which would be indicative of someone creating a story. We went and we got candy and stuff. I'd want to know what's and stuff. And we literally walked. Now, this word literally walked is confusing to me because why literally? We just walked here. Isn't everything literal that you're telling us? There's an expression we like to use, Vinny, and you at home. Truthful people convey. Liars try to convince. So we literally walked over here. Why the literally? Instead of we walked here, and then we walked here. Is she overselling at this point? That's a hot spot for me here. We literally walked. And then she said, we just we just went outside to play, or we just went downstairs to play. Oh, about her sons. When she asked, where's Summer? She just went downstairs to play. The word just is a minimizing word. Can I ask you just a couple questions, Vinny?
Oh, it's going to be more than a couple.
And I asked you just a couple. So just is a minimizing word. So there are some verbal spots of stress and some nonverbal concerns I have, but this is not a 90% she's telling the truth. This is a 50-50, if not 60% telling me the truth. And riding that edge of 40%, there's more to the story.
Right, and the thing that struck me as I watched her, she just seemed very comfortable, right? A man's got a camera, is asking you questions, the world is gonna see it, and there's a level of comfort there. So I'm kind of with you on all that. So we're just about out of time, but like zero, I guess you said 60% you feel like this is very truthful, but there's something else to the story. And
this comfort that you're talking about, Vinny, the comfort, that's out of place, right? Your daughter's missing. Where is the fear and the sadness? This is the thing that concerned me with Chris Watts when I watched him. Two things didn't appear. Fear and sadness. Where's fear and sadness?
We are out of time. Janine Driver, thank you so much. Appreciate it. You know, sometimes I cover stories about missing children that have gotten very little attention. And in those cases, publicity can make a big difference, making people aware or getting people to actually search. But what makes this case so frustrating and baffling is that there have been massive searches and an incredible amount of publicity, both locally and nationally on shows like this. So unfortunately, what I think here is that the longer it takes, the more difficult it's going to be to find little Summer. I'm Vinny Politan. We'll keep digging for answers.
Oh, there is that. And we'll be getting into more of that here over the next couple of days. Because like I said, it's coming up on 4 years, guys, and that's just too much for me. Just saying. Just too much for me. All right, let's see what we got coming up next. We're about at the end of the show here. Give me 1 minute, folks. Hang on. Yep, okay, that's done. Nothing there yet. They haven't dropped those new documents yet. Let's see where we're at time-wise. Okay, I guess we can run. Yeah, what the heck, why not? We didn't do it yesterday anyway. Let's see here. There, what's my... Yeah, Scully, that's what we do. When we do. Hold on. All right, let's look at some Good Samaritan stuff today. Some positivity as compared to all the negativity. Just to show that it's still going on out there. There's still good people and not everything's so bad. Let's see what we got here, guys. Hopefully these won't bring any tears to anybody's eyes. Just happy and good stuff.
He was alone. These doctors are both healers and positive medicine for the patient.
I wouldn't do for you. We stick together, we can see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me.
Officer Mike Fredericks appreciates that every person has an important memento of their own, so he worked really hard to find the clown. The happiness is doubled. She will start a new chapter of life with 2 amazing companions.
Why would you know? That's the whole point, is sharing your feelings on it. You didn't run anybody off. Everybody's still here. There's a lot of people that feel the same way you do. There's people that feel differently. It doesn't matter. We all have different opinions.
Perfectly. See that? Oh, that's beautiful, right?
There's no duty that's too insignificant for real officers. As long as it creates value for the community, they'll do it.
Guys, NYPD, you see? You gotta love it. And it's 105? Pulled over? Side.
The whole hospital congratulated him on his final treatment. This means he'll be healthy from now on.
So my treatment's done, this course is run, and I am on my way.
Now you've got to ring.
You know it's Mother's Day this weekend.
The card out loud. Ripley, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it out to your ice cream shop. I'm sure Karma is amazing. You are so creative. Keep working hard to pursue your dreams. Love, Taylor.
It's a good idea to send a gift to remind them that you've always supported them and apologize for not being able to come.
Taylor Swift. That would be 4 dozen diapers.
Hi, come here. Can I have a hug? Yeah. Come here. Get over here. Over here. Here. Give me a hug. There we go.
All right.
He delivered a package and a huge amount of kindness. Batman showed up for the little citizens when they needed him the most. It's a blessing to have such a hero in the community. Therapy dog Norman served for over 7 years. On his retirement day, his impact was evident as many showed up to say goodbye. The biggest impact on this world may start from the tiniest act.
All right, that'll do it. They weren't too bad today. All right, and that means we're coming to the end. You guys know where we're at here. Hold on a minute. Which one do I want to run? Hold on. All right, let me see here. Show. Gone back to some of this stuff, guys. We haven't seen this in a while. guess we got, is this new? This one's newer. If anybody's got any, hold on. Oh. All right, let's see. We got a little something different I found. I thought it was kind of funny. Go from here. Just put a little smile on your face, that's all. Here we go.
Now!
Okay, I'm up. I'm up.
Wake up, cousin! We're going to the zoo! Mummy! Dad, come here! You won't believe what this snake is doing!
Serves you right.
How did you get in there? Is there a snake? Is there a snake? I'm not Harry.
I am.
Mind, I haven't seen you since you was a baby, Harry, but you're a bit more along than I would have expected. Particularly round the middle.
Thanks.
Afraid I might have sat on it at some point, but...
You sat on it? Actually, I'm on a diet.
Well, of course you are. Sorry about that. You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard. And a thumping good one, I'd wager, once you trade up a little.
No, you've made a mistake. I can't be a wizard. Okay.
No? Blimey, Harry.
I'm Harry. I'm Mr. Frog.
Well, of course you are. Bit behind schedule. Best be off.
Wait, can I still come with you?
Excuse me, do you mind? Everywhere else is full.
Oh, actually, I'm waiting for Piggy, so...
I'm Ron, by the way.
That's Piggy's seat. Could you please leave?
Ron Weasley.
Listen, I've tried to be nice, but if you don't leave, I'm gonna call Animal in here. I am not bluffing.
Anything off the trolley, dears?
Let me check.
No thanks. I'm all set.
Yeah, me too.
Whoa.
Right then. Right. Okay. Griffin Puff! No, Huffledore!
Mental, that one. I'm telling you.
No.
Then again, maybe some of you have come to Hogwarts to not pay attention. Mr. Potter.
Yeah?
Our new celebrity.
Thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell me, what would I get if I added powdered root of asphodel to an infusion of wormwood?
Isn't that what you're here to teach me? I think Hermione might know. Click here for another video by Film Haze.
Hang on. There's a couple of these, and then we'll be out of here, I think. I thought these are kind of funny. Maybe not super funny, but kind of funny.
Oh, hey-ho, Commissioner. Say, would you mind cleaning this table off? It's completely filthy. Okay, you just brushed it with your hand. You should really use a disinfectant wipe or something.
What difference does that make?
Well, a big difference, actually.
Harvey Dent never made it home.
Harvey who?
What have you done with him?
Me? I was right here. Who did you leave him with?
If we're gonna play games, I'm gonna need a cup of coffee.
Oh, great. What are we gonna play? Checkers? Monopoly?
Not exactly. It's in control.
Click here for another video.
Alright, guys. Like I said, they're not horribly funny, but I thought they were funny. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us today. And I hope you guys enjoyed what we did today. Hopefully, I'll be back in here later on tonight, and or just later on. Okay. And appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other. Don't change a thing. You guys are the beautiful people, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye, y'all.
Life's a journey, let's make every moment shine. Together we share, our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round, friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So gather round, friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you.